Welcome to today's story, an ancient story, The Monkey King. The real tale of the Monkey King in heaven. Now please listen to this story. Hey guys, tonight we are diving deep into one of the most chaotic, hilarious, and epic tales ever told. The real story of the Monkey King's rampage through heaven. Picture it, a world of celestial bureaucrats, divine armies, magical peaches that grant eternal life, and one very, very arrogant monkey armed with a staff that can change size and the ego to match. This isn't just a myth. It's the original cosmic-level temper tantrum. You're about to be born from a stone, challenge the gods, and try to take over the universe. Let's be honest, the odds of you surviving this with your dignity, or your tail intact, are slim to none. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. I always love seeing where in the world you're all listening from, so feel free to drop your city and local time in the comments. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Your story doesn't begin in a nursery or a palace. It begins with a rock. Not just any rock, but a colossal stone resting on the highest peak of the mountain of flowers and fruit, a lush island paradise in the land of Astraway. For countless ages, this stone has been patiently absorbing the pure essences of heaven and earth, the subtle energies of the sun and the moon. It's a cosmic battery, and it's about to give birth to you. This entire epic, which you're about to star in, comes from a 16th century Chinese novel called Journey to the West. It's a cornerstone of Eastern literature, so no pressure, but you've got some big sandals to fill. One day, with a sound that cracks the air, the stone splits open. And there you are. Not a helpless infant, but a fully formed stone monkey. You blink, and the first thing you see is the world in all its raw, unfiltered glory. The air smells of salt from the eastern sea and sweet, heavy blossoms from the mountain. You instinctively scramble to your feet, your stone fur still new, and you bow to the four cardinal points of the compass, a gesture of innate respect for the world that created you. As you do, two beams of golden light shoot from your eyes, so bright they pierce the clouds and startle the Jade Emperor on his celestial throne. He notes the disturbance, makes a mental note to have someone look into it, and then gets back to his heavenly paperwork. He'll be seeing you again soon. You scamper down the mountainside, driven by an instinct you don't yet understand. You find others of your kind, gibbons, macaques, monkeys of every shape and size. They chatter and screech at the sight of you, a creature born of stone, but your strangeness is quickly forgotten. You are one of them. You eat when they eat, feasting on wild kiwis and mountain berries. You drink from crystal-clear streams and sleep in the hollows of ancient pine trees. Life is a simple, blissful cycle of play and rest. For years, you are content. But you're different. There's a spark in you, a restless ambition that your furry brethren lack. Historians still argue whether your character, Sun Wukong, was inspired more by the Hindu deity Hanuman from the Ramayana or by purely local Chinese folk legends. Whatever your origin, you were born for more than just picking fruit. One sweltering summer afternoon, you and the other monkeys are seeking refuge from the heat, bathing in a mountain stream. A game begins. Look at that waterfall, one of them chatters. The water comes from so high up. I wonder what's on the other side. Whoever is brave enough to go through it and find a source and comes back unharmed will make him our king. A ripple of excited fear goes through the troop. They dare each other, but no one moves. The roar of the water is intimidating, a constant, thunderous crash against the rocks below. But you feel that spark again. Fear? No, it's closer to exhilaration. I'll go, you shout, and your voice cuts through the din. Before anyone can protest, you crouch, gathering your powerful legs, and take a running leap. The world dissolves into a violent, churning chaos of cold water. It's a crushing weight, a roaring darkness that seems to last an eternity. Then, just as suddenly, it's over. You land on your feet. The roaring is gone, replaced by a gentle, echoing quiet. You open your eyes. You're standing on a flat, broad iron bridge. Before you lies a vast, hidden world. A grotto, a cave heaven, untouched by time. There are stone tables and stone stools, stone bowls and stone plates neatly arranged on a stone stove. It's a home long abandoned, but perfectly preserved. Not exactly memory foam, but it has a certain permanent chic. You explore further, finding stone sleeping pallets and alcoves, all clean, as if the owner just stepped out for a moment. This is a paradise fortress, a kingdom waiting for its ruler. Overcome with joy, you turn and leap back through the waterfall. You land amidst the gasps of your tribe. They thought you were gone forever. "I'm fine," you announce. "And you won't believe what I found." You describe the cave, the bridge, the furnished rooms, a perfect home, safe from the wind and rain, a shelter for all of you. You lead them, a chattering, ecstatic procession, back through the watery curtain. They pour into the grotto, their eyes wide with wonder. They explore every corner, tumbling over the stone furniture and marveling at their new home, which they name the Water Curtain Cave. True to their word, they bow before you. They arrange themselves in lines according to age and rank and perform a solemn ceremony. You take your seat on the stone throne at the head of the cave. No elections, no messy campaigns, just a simple jump through a waterfall platform. Politics was simpler back then. From this day forward, you are their leader, their protector. You are Mei Hoang, the handsome Monkey King. For hundreds of years, you reign as the handsome Monkey King. Your life in the Water Curtain Cave is a blur of joyous feasting and playful abandon. You lead your people, now numbering in the thousands, on grand excursions through the mountain of flowers and fruit. You are strong, you are respected, you are king. An endless summer stretches before you, filled with the taste of ripe persimmons and the sweet nectar of mountain flowers. You have everything a monkey could ever want. And yet, one day, in the middle of a magnificent banquet, surrounded by your adoring subjects, you feel a sudden cold pang of sorrow. You let out a deep sigh. The chattering and laughter around you die down as the monkeys notice your gloom. Gibbon, one of your trusted advisors, steps forward and boasts. "Why is your majesty so sad?" he asks. "We are feasting and happy. What troubles you?" You look at their faces, so full of innocent cheer, and the sorrow deepens. "Though I am happy today," you tell them, "I have begun to fear the future. We may be free from the beasts of the forest, but one day, old age and decay will come for us. When our time is up, we will be at the mercy of Yama, the king of hell. Our lives will have been for nothing. The thought of non-existence, of your vibrant spirit being snuffed out, is unbearable. I want to find a way to escape the cycle of rebirth, to never grow old, and to live forever." The monkeys all cover their faces and begin to weep, now sharing your existential dread. But one old gibbon, his fur long and white, leaps out from the crowd. "If that is what worries your majesty," he says, his voice raspy with age, "then you have found the very source of the Tao. There are, in this world, three kinds of beings who are not subject to King Yama's rule: the Buddhas, the Taoist immortals, and the sages. They live beyond the wheel of reincarnation. They are eternal. A fire ignites in your heart. Where can I find them?" you ask, your voice trembling with excitement. "They live in the world of humans," the gibbon explains, "in ancient grottos on sacred mountains. The path is decided. You announce to your subjects that you will leave immediately. You will go on a quest, find one of these masters, and you will not return until you have learned the secret to eternal life. Your monkeys wail and plead with you to stay, but your will is iron. They help you build a sturdy raft from the pine trees on the mountain, fit it with a bamboo pole, and pack it with enough fruit to last for months. At the shore of the eastern sea, they give you a tearful send-off, and you push your small craft into the waves, leaving your kingdom behind. You are alone on the vast, unforgiving ocean. For days, you drift, relying on favorable winds to push you southeast. Storms toss your raft like a leaf, and giant sea monsters eye you from the depths, but you are fearless. You are the handsome Monkey King, and you have a purpose. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, you spot land. You have reached the shores of the southern continent. The people you see here are different. They walk on two legs, wear strange fabrics, and live in houses of wood and mud. When you approach them, they scream and run, thinking you are some kind of demon. Realizing your appearance is the problem, you sneak into a village and steal a set of clothes. You struggle into them, a sight of pure comedy, a monkey in a loose tunic and a hat perched awkwardly on his head. It's not a good look, but it's a start. For the next 8 or 9 years, you wander the world of humans. It's a strange and often disappointing place. You learn their language by mimicking them in the marketplaces. You learn their manners by observing them in taverns. You even learn to walk with a kind of upright swagger. But everyone you meet seems obsessed with profit, power, and reputation. When you ask them about immortals or the secret to long life, they either laugh in your face or try to sell you something. You discover that human society is broadly guided by what they call the three teachings: Confucianism, focused on social order; Buddhism, on ending suffering; and Taoism, on harmony with the natural way of things. It's this last one that seems most promising. You seek out so-called masters, but they are all frauds. One teaches you how to summon spirits, but it's just elaborate shadow puppetry. Another shows you how to meditate until you see colored lights, but that doesn't stop you from getting hungry. Scholars debate whether the novel's depiction of these schools of thought is a sincere exploration or a subtle satire of the spiritual marketplace of 16th century China. You encounter Taoist alchemists who promise immortality through elixirs. You watch them mix powders and herbs, sometimes using highly toxic ingredients like mercury and cinnabar. It's a fringe practice, but a surprisingly popular one. They offer you a sip of their latest concoction, but one sniff tells you it's more likely to grant you a very quick trip to the underworld than an eternity away from it. Disheartened, you leave the cities behind and wander into the wilderness, feeling that a true sage would never live amid such clamor and greed. One day, you find yourself deep in a majestic forest. The trees are impossibly tall, and a sense of profound peace settles over the land. As you climb a mountain path, you hear a sound drifting on the breeze. It's a song sung by a clear, simple voice. The lyrics stop you in your tracks. The singer sings of meeting a friend for a game of chess, of chopping firewood, and then trading it for wine. But then he sings of sleeping at the foot of the clouds, waking to a bright moon, and knowing the way to the door of the ancient town. This is no ordinary woodcutter. This is the clue you have spent a decade searching for. Your heart leaps. You are close. You plunge deeper into the woods, following the sound of the song, your quest for eternal life about to take a very real turn. You follow the melodic voice through the dense forest, your heart thumping a rhythm of hope and anticipation against your ribs. After nearly a decade of searching, this feels different. You finally emerge into a clearing and see him, a man dressed in simple peasant clothes, hacking away at a dead tree with an axe. It's him, the singer. You rush forward and bow deeply. "Immortal master," you cry out. Your disciple greets you. The man drops his axe in surprise. "You've got the wrong guy," he says, wiping sweat from his brow. "I'm no immortal. I'm just a woodcutter. I live nearby, and that's song. I just learned it from my neighbor, a true immortal who lives up on that mountain." He points with his axe to a misty peak in the distance. He lives in a cave called the Cave of the Slanting Moon and 3 Stars. He has many disciples, and he's taught me that song to cheer myself up when I'm feeling troubled. You seem like someone who's on the path. You should go see him. Overjoyed, you thank the woodcutter profusely and immediately set off towards the peak he indicated. The path becomes clearer, more defined, as if trodden by generations of seekers. Finally, you see it, a cave entrance, elegantly carved, with a stone tablet above it bearing the name the woodcutter gave you. The Cave of the Slanting Moon and 3 Stars. You tidy your stolen clothes, smooth your fur as best you can, and knock respectfully on the gate. It swings open, and a young attendant, dressed in the flowing robes of a Taoist disciple, peers out. "Who are you, and what do you want?" he asks, his eyes wide at the sight of your simian face. You bow again. "I have come from far away to seek the Tao and learn the secret of eternal life from the patriarch." The boy's eyes soften. "The master is meditating," he says, "but he told me a moment ago that someone seeking the way had arrived, and I was to let him in." He leads you through a series of long, quiet corridors carved from the living rock, past halls where other disciples are reading scriptures or practicing calligraphy. The air hums with a focused, peaceful energy. Finally, you are brought before the master himself. He is seated on a high jade platform. This is the patriarch Subodhi. His presence fills the room, a serene, ancient power that makes the very air feel heavy. He opens his eyes, and they seem to look right through you. "Where are you from?" he asks, his voice calm but firm. "And what is your name?" Thinking fast, you decide that "I was born from a magic rock" might be a bit much for a first impression. You give him the name of your island and your cave, but you lie about your origins, claiming you were born of your parents. Subodhi smiles faintly. "You are not telling the truth. You were clearly born of heaven and earth." You stammer, realizing you cannot lie to this being, and confess everything. Subodhi listens patiently. He sees the raw, untamed spirit in you, a chaotic energy that could be shaped into something incredible. He decides to accept you. "Since you were born from the earth, your family name shall be Suin," he says, using a character related to the word for monkey. "And for your given name, I will call you Yukong, awakened to emptiness. Sunwung. This is your new identity, a name that holds the promise of both your origins and your spiritual destination. You are formally accepted as a disciple. You probably expect the magic lessons to begin right away. Maybe some levitation 101 or a class on turning water into wine. No such luck. For the next 7 years, your life is one of mundane humility. You learn the proper ways to speak and bow. You're put to work with the other junior disciples, sweeping the courtyards, fetching firewood, tending the gardens, and carrying water from the mountain spring. The other students sometimes mock your strange appearance, but you endure it all with a surprising patience. Taoist monasticism, like the kind you're experiencing, was a very real path for spiritual seekers in Ming Dynasty China. They would retreat from worldly affairs to mountains just like this one, dedicating themselves to meditation and study. You are learning, just not in the way you expected. You are learning to control your impulsive nature, to quiet your mind. But deep down, you're getting antsy. When does the cool stuff start? One day, the patriarch Subodhi summons all the disciples for a sermon. He asks what you would like to learn. He offers you various paths, the way of quiet meditation, the art of reading scriptures, the practice of ritual chanting. You reject them all. Will any of those, you ask, lead to eternal life? Subodhi admits they won't. "Then I won't learn them," you declare. The patriarch, feigning anger at your stubbornness, walks over and raps you 3 times on the head with his staff. Then he folds his hands behind his back and walks to his private inner chambers, closing the main doors behind him. The other disciples are horrified. They think you have been punished, that you're a fool who has angered the master. But you understand. It's a riddle. 3 taps on the head meant the 3rd watch of the night. Hands behind his back and closing the main doors meant you were to come in secretly, through the back gate. That night, at the appointed hour, around midnight, you sneak to the back of Subodhi's room. The door is ajar. Inside, the patriarch is waiting for you, awake on his couch. He is delighted that you understood his secret message. Now he whispers, "I will teach you the true formula for eternal life." And so your real training begins. In those secret, pre-dawn hours, Subodhi imparts his most powerful arts to you. First, he teaches you the 72 earthly transformations. This is not simple illusion. It's the power to fundamentally alter your physical form into anything you can imagine. A hawk, a fish, a pine tree, a tiny insect. You practice relentlessly. Your first attempt to become a tiger results in a creature with a tiger's body, but your own monkey tail still sticking out, a dead giveaway. But you are a quick study. The number 72 is significant in Taoist belief, representing a mastery over the terrestrial, material world. You are becoming a master of earthly existence. Next, he teaches you the art of cloud somersaulting. It's more than just flying. It's a quantum leap through space. He instructs you to make a specific hand sign, recite a spell, clench your fist, shake your body, and then jump. You do as he says, and with a single bound, you vanish. You shoot through the air, clouds whipping past you like smoke, the world below a blur of color. You travel an incredible distance, 108,000 li, over 33,000 miles, in one go. You land, exhilarated, and then leap back again. Historians still argue whether the character of Subodhi, who is both a Taoist patriarch and uses Buddhist terminology like your name Wukong, represents a genuine attempt at religious syncretism or is simply a literary device to give you a powerful, non-aligned master. Either way, under his secret tutelage, you have now become a being of immense, almost unimaginable power. You have mastered the secret arts. Your power feels like a living thing inside you, humming with a restless energy that can barely be contained. One sunny afternoon, your fellow disciples, who have noticed your newfound confidence, pester you for a demonstration. Come on, they cajole. The master taught you some amazing tricks. Show us something. Your ego, never your strongest point, swells with pride. You've been doing chores for 7 years, and now it's your time to shine. All right, you say, trying to sound casual. What do you want to see? Turn into a pine tree. One of them shouts. Easy. You recite the spell, shake yourself, and in an instant, you transform into a perfect, towering pine tree, complete with rugged bark and fragrant needles. The disciples gasp and applaud, cheering your name. The commotion reaches the ears of the patriarch Subodhi, who comes striding out of the monastery. He sees the tree, then sees the adoring crowd, and his face darkens. He orders you to change back. You do so, sheepishly resuming your monkey form. Looking, he says, and his voice is low and serious, no longer the gentle teacher from your midnight lessons. I taught you these arts so you could protect yourself from harm, not so you could show off in front of others. When you display your power, you make others covet it. They will see what you can do, and will either beg you to teach them, or if you refuse, they will try to harm you. You have endangered yourself. He looks at you, a profound sadness in his eyes. You can no longer stay here. You must leave. Your heart sinks. Master, where can I go? You plead. Go back to where you came from, he says. But I must warn you of one thing. When you leave this place, you are bound to get into trouble. Whatever you do, no matter how dire the circumstances, you must never, ever tell anyone that I was your master. If you so much as breathe my name, I will know. I will flay your soul and banish it to the place of ninefold darkness for all eternity. This is a solemn, terrifying vow. You promise, your voice choked with emotion. You say your goodbyes and, with a final, sorrowful look at the only real home you've known, you perform a cloud somersault. In a single leap, you are gone, hurtling back towards the mountain of flowers and fruit. You arrive back at your island paradise in less than an hour, a journey that once took you a decade. You land softly at the base of the waterfall, but the joyous homecoming you imagined isn't what you find. The mountain is quieter, more subdued. As you approach the water curtain cave, you hear not laughter, but weeping. You rush inside. Your monkeys, seeing you, cry out in a mixture of shock and relief. Your Majesty, you're back. They tell you what happened. In your absence, a powerful demon, the Demon King of Havoc, had laid claim to your mountain. He kidnapped many of your monkey subjects, enslaved them, and stole the contents of your cave. A cold rage, an emotion you haven't felt in years, floods through you. All that training in quiet humility? Gone. You ask where this demon lives. They point you towards a nearby mountain. Without another word, you leap into the air. You find the demon's cave, where he is feasting and being served by your captive monkeys. You call him out, and he emerges, hulking beast laughing at your small size. The fight is laughably short. He can't even land a blow. You, on the other hand, use one of your new tricks. You pluck a handful of hairs from your leg, chew them into tiny pieces, and spit them out, shouting, "Change." The bits of hair transform into hundreds of tiny, ferocious monkeys, each one a miniature version of you. They swarm the demon, biting and scratching, while you deliver the final blow. You free your people and return to the water curtain cave a hero. You use your powers to retrieve all your stolen goods, but a new problem arises. You have taught your monkeys how to fight, drilling them daily in military formations, but they have no proper weapons. They use wooden spears and bamboo poles, which splinter and break. You need real weapons made of iron and steel. But where to get them? One of your old advisors steps forward. "Your Majesty," he says, "the river that flows from our waterfall leads directly to the palace of the old Dragon King of the Eastern Sea. He is our neighbor. Surely he must have a treasury full of divine weapons. Perhaps you could pay him a visit." An excellent idea. Why bother with blacksmiths when you have a magical Dragon King next door? You recite a water-avoiding spell, another handy trick from Subodhi, and dive into the torrent beneath the waterfall. The water parts before you, creating a dry path. You follow the riverbed until you see it in the distance, a magnificent underwater palace, its gates guarded by shrimp soldiers and crab generals. Talk about a quirky security detail. In ancient Chinese cosmology, the 4 Dragon Kings were divine rulers of the oceans, controlling the weather and the rains. They weren't just mythical beasts. They were powerful, bureaucratic gods. You stride up to the gate and announce yourself. "I am Sun Wukong, your celestial neighbor from the mountain of flowers and fruit. I've come to call on the Dragon King." The guards, intimidated by your swagger, quickly report to their master. The Dragon King, Ao Guang, comes out to greet you. He's heard of you, the stone monkey who startled heaven at his birth. He's polite but wary. You explain your situation, your monkeys need weapons, and you've heard he has a fine collection. The Dragon King, eager to get rid of you, orders his minions to bring out a huge 9-pronged spear. It's immensely heavy. You lift it with one hand and swing it around. "Too light," you declare. "Far too light." The Dragon King is stunned. He has them bring out a massive 7,200-pound halberd, a weapon wielded by his greatest generals. You pick it up and play with it like a walking stick. "Still too light," you say with a dismissive wave. "And it doesn't feel right in my hands." The Dragon King is sweating now. He has no other conventional weapons that are any heavier. His wife and daughter, peeking from behind a coral screen, whisper to him. They remind him of a strange piece of divine iron sitting in their treasury, a massive pillar that was used by the Great Yu the Great, a legendary emperor, to measure the depths of the primordial floods. It has been sitting there for ages and used, and has recently been glowing with a strange celestial light. Historians still argue whether Yu the Great was a real historical figure or a purely mythological one, but his taming of the floods is a foundational story in Chinese culture. Desperate, the Dragon King agrees to show it to you. He leads you deeper into his treasury, towards a colossal black pillar that seems to hum with a dormant cosmic power. You stand in the deepest part of the Dragon King's treasury, and your eyes fall upon the pillar. It's immense, a shaft of black iron stretching from the seafloor up towards the vaulted ceiling of the cavern, easily 20 feet long and as thick as a barrel. Golden bands are clasped at either end. It radiates a quiet, ancient power, the same energy that had been causing it to glow in recent days. The Dragon King, Ao Guang, looks at it with a mixture of awe and annoyance. "That's it," he says with a shrug. "It's just a piece of scrap iron left over from the Great Yu's engineering projects. It's far too heavy to lift. If you can move it, you can have it. He's certain you can't." It's a polite way of calling your bluff. You, however, feel an immediate primal connection to the object. It's as if it has been waiting for you. You walk up to it, wrapping your arms around its impossible girth. You give it a little nudge. It doesn't budge. The Dragon King smirks, but you're just getting a feel for it. You focus your energy. Your muscles tense, and you give it a proper heave. With a deep groan of protest from the seafloor, the colossal pillar moves. You can lift it, but it's still far too big to wield as a weapon. It's like trying to fight with a telephone pole. As you stand there, contemplating the logistics of swinging a 20-foot iron column, a thought flashes in your mind, an instinct born of your newfound magical abilities. It's a bit too big, you say aloud, more to the pillar than to the Dragon King. Couldn't it be just a little smaller? As soon as you speak the words, the mighty pillar shudders. To the utter astonishment of the Dragon King and his court, it begins to shrink. It contracts, getting shorter and thinner, until it's the perfect size and weight for you to hold comfortably in your hands as a staff. You give it a few practice swings, and it feels like an extension of your own body. It whistles through the water, creating powerful currents that knock the crab generals off their feet. This is it. This is your weapon. You examine it more closely. An inscription is engraved near one of the golden hoops. It reads, "The compliant golden hooped staff. Weight 13,500 caddies. That's roughly 17,550 pounds, or nearly 9 tons. It's a weapon of divine weight, yet in your hands, it feels almost weightless." You experiment further, whispering, "Smaller, smaller." It shrinks down until it's the size of a tiny embroidery needle. You tuck it behind your ear for safekeeping, where it sits, invisible and unnoticed. The Dragon King's jaw is somewhere on the seafloor. He just gave away a priceless divine artifact, a pillar that was said to have once pinned down the Milky Way itself. This little detail is a great example of the cosmic hyperbole found throughout the novel, blending engineering marvels with cosmological myths. Now that you have your weapon, you're feeling bold. "A fine staff," you say, pulling the full-size weapon back out from behind your ear, "but it's a bit plain. A mighty king like myself shouldn't be walking around with a bare iron stick. It needs some proper attire to go with it. Surely you have a suit of armor for me as well." The Dragon King is about to protest. This cosmic mugging has gone far enough, but you swing the staff menacingly, and he reconsiders. He confesses that he has no armor worthy of you. "Fine," you say. "Then call your brothers, the Dragon Kings of the other 3 seas. They must have something." Ao Guang, terrified of you and your new toy, sends out magical drum and bell signals to summon his brothers. Ao Chin of the South Sea, Ao Sha of the North Sea, and Ao Run of the West Sea. They arrive in a swirl of currents, their own majestic retinues in tow. When they hear what's happened, that you've taken the Great Pillar and are now demanding a suit of armor, they are furious. They want to call their armies and fight you. Ao Guang frantically talks them out of it. "Brothers, you don't understand," he whispers. "One swing of that staff could destroy my whole palace. It's better to give this fiend what he wants, and then we can petition the Jade Emperor in heaven for justice. It's a classic bureaucratic solution. Give the problem what it wants, and then file a complaint later." Reluctantly, they agree. The Dragon King of the West Sea, Ao Ron, offers up a pair of cloud-stepping shoes made from lotus root fiber. The Dragon King of the North Sea, Ao Shun, provides a helmet of phoenix feather gold. And your host, Ao Guang, produces a suit of golden chainmail armor. You put it all on. You look magnificent. A king in golden armor, phoenix feathers waving from your helmet, magical shoes on your feet, and a 9-ton staff in your hand. You are no longer just the handsome monkey king. You are a divine warrior. You thank the Dragon Kings with a level of sarcasm that is entirely lost on them, then swagger out of the Crystal Palace, leaving them to draft their formal complaint to the Celestial Court. You part the waters again and leap out of the river, landing in front of your assembled monkey army. They gasp at the sight of you in your new golden splendor. To show off, you pull the needle from behind your ear, and it expands back into the mighty staff. You tell your monkeys its history, its weight, its power. Then you go about finding them weapons. You use your magic to create thousands of swords, spears, and scimitars, replicas of the ones you saw in the Dragon Palace. You drill your army relentlessly, transforming the peaceful tribe of the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit into a formidable fighting force. Your power, your ambition, and your ego have grown to epic proportions. You have a divine weapon, an army, and immortality. What more could you want? Well, there's one small detail that's still bothering you. Despite your training with Subodhi, there's a loose end. An administrative oversight. King Yama, the ruler of the underworld, still has your name in his files. And you decide it's time to pay him a visit and fix that. Scholars still argue whether your quest for immortality is a noble spiritual pursuit or just the ultimate expression of cosmic arrogance. Right now, it's looking a lot like the latter. You're about to take your rebellion to a whole new level. You are celebrating your new status as a fully armed, divinely armored monarch. A grand banquet is held in your honor in the Water Curtain Cave. The monkey host brings out coconut wine, grape wine, and elixirs made from exotic flowers. You and your chief officers feast and drink until you are all gloriously, stupendously drunk. You feel a wave of drowsiness wash over you. Leaning against a pine tree just outside the cave entrance to get some fresh air, you fall into a deep, intoxicated sleep. As you're snoring away, two figures approach you. They are lictors, grim-faced messengers from the underworld. They carry a warrant and a soul-binding rope. In your drunken stupor, you don't realize what's happening. They slip the rope around your soul, pull it right out of your body, and inform you that your time in the world of light is up. They begin to drag you away. Hey, you slur, your mind's still fuzzy. I live on the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit. You've got the wrong address. The lictors just laugh. Your predestined lifespan has expired. We have our orders. They drag you along a long, dusty road until you see a great walled city in the distance. A sign above the gate reads, in large letters, "The Nether World." The sight of those words finally sobers you up. This is it, the realm of King Yama. Your training with Subodhi was supposed to make you immune to this. A hot fury burns away the last of the wine-fueled haze. How dare they? Wait a minute. You say, your voice now clear and dangerous. I, old monkey, have transcended the 5 elements and am no longer part of the 10 categories of life. I am beyond the jurisdiction of King Yama. How dare you lay hands on me? The lictors are just low-level apparatchiks. They don't know who they're dealing with. They try to hurry you along, but you are done being cooperative. You reach behind your ear, pull out your compliant golden-hooped staff, still just a needle, and expand it to the thickness of a rice bowl. The lictors look at the 9-ton weapon that just appeared out of thin air, and their smug expressions melt into pure terror. With a single swing, you smash them into a pulpy mess. Their spectral forms dissolve into nothingness. You stand there alone at the gates of the capital city of hell. What do? Go back? No. You came here to sort out an administrative error, and by heaven, you're going to sort it out. You stride through the gates, staff in hand, ready to file a complaint with management. The path is lined with wailing souls and mournful ghosts. Ox-headed demons and horse-faced guards patrol the streets, but they see the golden armor, the murderous look in your eye, and the enormous staff you're brandishing. They wisely give you a wide berth. You march directly to the Senluo Palace, the central court of the underworld. You smash open the doors and storm into the throne room where the 10 kings of the underworld are in session, reviewing the karmic records of the newly deceased. The 10 kings, including the famous King Yama, are essentially the divine judiciary of the afterlife in Chinese folk religion. They weren't seen as evil, but as stern, impartial judges. They look up from their scrolls, utterly shocked to see a furious, fully armed monkey warrior standing in their court. Before they can even react, you start shouting. How dare you send your goons to arrest me? Do you have any idea who I am? I am the great sage of the mountain of flowers and fruit, and I am not subject to your laws. The 10 kings, flustered, try to be diplomatic. Please, great sage, calm yourself. There must be a misunderstanding. Many people in the world have the same name. It's possible our agents arrested the wrong Sun Wukong. This is a weak excuse, and you know it. Nonsense, you roar. Show me the ledgers. Show me the book of life and death. Intimidated, they order the head clerk to bring out the official records. The clerk, a trembling bureaucrat in a scholar's cap, scurries off to the archives. He returns, staggering under the weight of several massive ledgers. Each ledger corresponds to a different category of life, one for beings with fur, one for scaled creatures, one for shelled ones, and so on. This detailed categorization of souls is a fascinating piece of world-building, reflecting the bureaucratic mindset of imperial China. A fringe tidbit, some folk traditions even specified registers for insects and plants, suggesting every living thing had its own file in the celestial database. You impatiently flip through the monkey register. There, under soul number 1350, you find it Sun Wukong, stone monkey, from the mountain of flowers and fruit, destined to live to the age of 342. Will die a good death. So I was only supposed to live 342 years, you bellow. I won't have it. You grab the clerk's brush, dip it in the ink pot, and with a thick, angry stroke, you cross out your own name. But then you pause. You think of your own people back home. If you're immortal, they should be too. You grab the ledger and start striking out the names of every monkey you can find. You just keep crossing out names page after page until the entire monkey register is a smeared, inky mess. You have just granted your entire species immortality through sheer vandalism. Having thoroughly wrecked their filing system, you throw the book down. There you declare. The matter is settled. Now we have no more accounts to settle between us. You swing your staff for emphasis, and the 10 kings cower behind their thrones. You then fight your way out of the city of the underworld, leaving a trail of terrified demons and wrecked infrastructure in your wake. The path back to the world of the living is hazy, and you find yourself stumbling through the dark until you trip and fall. You wake up with a jolt. You're lying on the ground, right back where you fell asleep, under the pine tree outside the water curtain cave. Was it all a dream? The other monkeys are still snoring nearby, sleeping off the wine. You stretch, and you feel the familiar sensation of your staff tucked behind your ear. It wasn't a dream. It was real. You roused your fellow monkeys and told them your story. When they heard you had erased their names from the ledger of death, they were overjoyed, bowing and thanking you for granting them eternal life. You have defied death itself, but your actions have not gone unnoticed. In the underworld, the 10 kings are reporting to their superior. And in the crystal palace at the bottom of the sea, the Dragon King is doing the same. 2 formal complaints against one Sun Wukong are about to land on the desk of the highest authority in the cosmos, the Jade Emperor. Your troublemaking days are about to go universal. Historians still argue whether the story's depiction of the underworld is a critique of earthly bureaucracy or a comforting vision of an organized, if intimidating, afterlife. For you, it was just another office to be stormed at. Up in the luminous expanse of the 9th heaven, the Jade Emperor is having a perfectly ordinary celestial morning. He's seated on his throne in the Hall of Miraculous Mist, surrounded by his civil and military officials, a vast assembly of gods, immortals, and star-lords. The air is thick with the scent of celestial incense and the low hum of cosmic business. The Jade Emperor, the supreme ruler of the Taoist pantheon, is essentially the CEO of the universe. He's not necessarily the most powerful being, but he's the one in charge of governance, law, and order. His court is modeled directly on the imperial court of China, complete with ministers, bureaucrats, and endless petitions. Suddenly, the morning's proceedings are interrupted. The first celestial minister steps forward to announce the arrival of 2 urgent petitions. The first is from the Dragon King of the Eastern Sea, Aoguang. He is brought before the throne, where he tearfully recounts how a brutish water fairy from the mountain of flowers and fruit stormed his palace, terrorized him and his brothers, and extorted a divine weapon and a suit of golden armor. He presents his formal written complaint. The Jade Emperor frowns, his brow furrowing with divine displeasure. This is a serious breach of cosmic etiquette. Before he can even issue a decree, another official announces a second, even more urgent petition. It's from the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, the compassionate overseer of the underworld, reporting on behalf of the 10 kings of hell. The court official reads a memorial aloud. It details how a bogus immortal named Sun Wukong, the stone monkey, violently resisted arrest, stormed the palace of darkness, intimidated the 10 kings, and forcibly altered the official registers of life and death, striking out his own name and those of his entire species. The entire celestial court begins to murmur. This is not just a breach of etiquette. This is an open rebellion against the fundamental laws of existence. The Jade Emperor turns to his assembled ministers. This fiend has been around for some time, he says, recalling the golden beams of light that shot from your eyes on the day of your birth. Which of my generals will descend to the lower world and apprehend this villain? From the ranks of the military gods, the great white planet, a star god also known as Venus, steps forward. He is an old, kind-looking deity, and he offers a path of peace. Your Majesty, he says, bowing low, this monkey was born of the pure essences of heaven and earth. He has discovered the way and achieved great power. He is clearly not aware of the celestial hierarchy or the rules he has broken. To send an army now might only provoke a pointless war. I suggest a more bureaucratic approach. The Jade Emperor leans forward, intrigued. What do you propose? He asks. I propose we issue an imperial edict of amnesty, the great white planet explains. We can summon him to heaven and offer him an official post. By bringing him into the celestial administration, we can keep an eye on him. We can register him, restrain him, and prevent him from causing further trouble. If he accepts, we can promote him for good behavior. If he refuses, we can arrest him then. It is a far more efficient solution than mobilizing the celestial armies. In many ways, this strategy mirrors how the Chinese imperial court often dealt with powerful warlords or tribal leaders on its borders. Placate them with titles and honors to bring them into the fold rather than fighting them. It's a classic move of co-opting a potential threat. The Jade Emperor considers this. It's elegant. It's clean. It saves on military expenses. He agrees. He instructs the great white planet to be his imperial envoy. He is to descend to the mountain of flowers and fruit and deliver the summons to you, Sun Wukong. The great white planet bows, receives the official edict, and exits the hall of miraculous mist. He mounts a celestial cloud and floats gently down from heaven, heading straight for your island kingdom. Back at the Water Curtain Cave, you are lecturing your monkey subjects. Boys, you are saying, I've been thinking. I'm a little worried some human king or emperor will get wind of our well-drilled army and cause trouble for us. Maybe we should go conquer one of their kingdoms, just to be safe. It's a typically aggressive and poorly thought-out plan. Just as you're pondering which nation to invade first, you see a bright star descend from the sky. It lands nearby, and from it steps the old god, the great white planet, holding a shimmering imperial decree. You have never seen a being from heaven before, and your monkeys are terrified, thinking he's an enemy. You, however, are more curious than afraid. You step forward, staff at the ready. Who are you, old man, and what are you doing here with that document? The great white planet smiles warmly. I am an envoy from the Jade Emperor in heaven, he announces. He has heard of your great abilities and has sent me with this gracious invitation. He wishes to offer you a position in the celestial bureaucracy. You are to ascend with me to heaven to receive your official appointment. Your heart soars. An official post in heaven. This is the recognition you crave. You, Sun Wukong, will be a god among gods. You laugh with delight. I've been thinking of going up to heaven for a visit for some time now. You tell him, it's wonderful that you've come to invite me. You turn to your chief monkeys and give them instructions to keep the army in good order while you're away. I'm off to heaven to check things out, you announce. I'll probably be gone a few days, maybe a few years. I'll see if I can find a way to get you all up there with me eventually. You tell the great white planet you are ready. He takes you by the hand, and together you rise into the sky on his cloud. The world shrinks below you as you ascend at a breathtaking speed. You pass through layers of astral energy and shimmering starlight. The air grows thin and pure. This is your first glimpse of the cosmic realm, a place of profound beauty and order. Historians still argue whether the novel's depiction of heaven is a sincere religious vision or a satirical jab at the perceived stuffiness and corruption of the Ming Dynasty court. As you approach the southern gate of heaven, the main entrance, you see celestial guards in gleaming armor, their halberds glinting in the ethereal light. The great white planet leads you forward, but the guards, seeing your monstrous, furry face, move to block your path. You are about to get your staff out, but the great white planet intervenes, showing them the edict. He is here by imperial summons, he explains. Let him pass. The guards reluctantly step aside, and you walk, for the first time, into the kingdom of heaven. You step through the southern gate of heaven, and the sight that greets you is overwhelming. The architecture is a symphony of jade, gold, and pearl. Rainbow-colored mists drift through vast courtyards, and auspicious cranes fly in perfect formations overhead. The air itself seems to shimmer with a light that has no source. You follow the great white planet along wide avenues paved with luminous stone, past pavilions and halls where serene-looking deities are engaged in celestial pastimes like playing cosmic chess or composing poetry about the nature of the Tao. It's grand, it's beautiful, and it's a little stuffy. You are brought directly to the Hall of Miraculous Mist, into the presence of the Jade Emperor himself. You've never been one for protocol. Instead of performing the full kowtow, the deep bow of prostration required before the celestial sovereign, you just stand there, looking around curiously and give a slight nod. The gods in the court gasp at this shocking lack of etiquette. It would be like walking into the Oval Office and giving the president a casual, "What's up?" The Jade Emperor, however, is trying to be magnanimous. He's following the great white planet's advice to placate. So, this is the stone monkey, Sun Wukong, the Emperor says, his voice echoing slightly in the vast hall. You are new to the ways of the court and unfamiliar with our rituals, so we will not hold your rudeness against you. He then turns to his ministers. Which department currently has a vacant position? The Minister of Personnel steps forward, consults his records, and announces, Your Majesty, all departments are fully staffed except one. The Imperial stables are in need of a protector. The Jade Emperor nods. Excellent. Then let it be so. We hereby appoint Sun Wukong to the post of Baimuan, protector of the celestial horses. He orders you to be taken to your new post immediately. You, not knowing the celestial hierarchy, hear the grand title protector of the celestial horses, and you are thrilled. Protector. It sounds important. You bow with genuine enthusiasm this time, a bit more respectfully, and shout your thanks to the Emperor. You are then escorted out of the grand hall by the Minister of the Heavenly Stables himself. He leads you to your new domain. The stables are a magnificent complex. There are thousands of stalls, each housing a dragon horse, a divine steed that can gallop across clouds and travel 1,000 leagues in an instant. These aren't just any horses. They are the celestial equivalent of supercars, used by the gods for their official journeys. Your job, you are told, is to oversee their care and feeding. You are now a manager. You have a staff of celestial grooms and stable hands. You leap into your new role with gusto. For the next few weeks, you are the model employee. You are diligent, energetic, and a bit of a micromanager. You personally inspect every horse, checking their teeth and hooves. You make sure their fodder is of the highest quality and their water is fresh. You keep meticulous records. You have the stable boys working double time, grooming the horses until their coats shine like polished silk. Under your watch, the celestial horses become fatter, stronger, and more energetic than ever before. You are, by all accounts, an excellent protector of the horses. You even find time for a bit of personal development, using your shape-shifting abilities to turn into a gadfly to annoy the lazier stable ants. The work is satisfying in its own way. You have a title, a purpose, and a place in the grand celestial order. You feel like you've finally made it. The celestial bureaucracy was vast, and many real-world historical figures were posthumously deified and given positions within it, becoming gods of everything from literature to city walls. You're just the latest, furriest new hire. This practice, known as euhemerism, was a common way of integrating local heroes and legends into the broader Taoist pantheon. One day, to celebrate your hard work and recent promotion, your subordinate officers in the stables decide to throw you a welcome party. They bring out fine celestial wine and delicacies. As the party gets going, and everyone is feeling relaxed and cheerful, you turn to one of your deputies. "Tell me," you ask, puffing out your chest, "this post of mine, protector of the horses, what is its official rank? How high up am I in the grand scheme of things?" The stable hands look at each other nervously. One of them finally speaks up, trying to be tactful. "Well, Your Excellency, this position, it doesn't really have a rank." You frown. "What do you mean, no rank? It must be very high up, right?" Another official, a bit drunk on the celestial wine, decides to be brutally honest. "Sir," he slurs, "to tell you the truth, this isn't a real post. It's not part of the official celestial hierarchy at all. It's considered an unclassified, sub-official position. The lowest of the low. They only created it because the stables were full and they needed someone to shovel. Well, he then adds the final, crushing insult. The only reason they call it Bimawin is based on an old folk belief. There's a superstition that keeping a monkey in a stable prevents the horses from getting sick. The truth hits you like a physical blow. Bimawin. It's not a grand title. It's a joke. It literally means avoiding the horse plague. You're not a protector. You're a stable monkey. A living good luck charm. They didn't promote you. They insulted you. They brought you all the way to heaven not to honor you, but to make you a cosmic zookeeper, a celestial stable boy. All your hard work, your diligence, your pride in your job, it was all based on a lie. Scholars still argue whether this episode is a critique of the rigid and often demeaning class structures of imperial China or a simple plot device to fuel your rage. For you, it's personal. A cold, silent fury build inside you. The laughter and chatter of the party fade into a dull roar in your ears. You don't say a word. You just stand up, your face a mask of cold rage. You knock the banquet table over with a single violent shove, sending celestial wine and immortal fruits scattering across the floor. "How dare they?" You hiss, the words dripping with venom. "How dare they humiliate me like this?" The stable hands shrink back in terror. You have been played for a fool, and the handsome Monkey King does not suffer fools, especially when he is one. Your brief, happy career as a celestial public servant is officially over. The rage that ignites within you is absolute. It's a white-hot inferno that burns away any thought of diplomacy or caution. Humiliation is a fuel you have never known before, and it is potent. You, the king of your own mountain, the warrior who terrified the Dragon Kings and rewrote the Book of Death, have been made into a glorified stable hand. The Jade Emperor and his court of stuffy, condescending gods didn't respect you. They tricked you. They looked at your power and saw only a beast to be pinned. Deceive me, will they? You snarl, the sound more animal than articulate. Your eyes, which once shot golden beams of light, now glow with a furious red. You reach behind your ear and pull out your golden hooped staff. It expands in your hand, its 17,550-pound weight now feeling light as a feather, propelled by your anger. Without a second thought, you begin to smash everything in sight. You bring the staff down on the exquisite jade feeding troughs, shattering them into a million glittering pieces. You demolish the stalls, splintering the celestial woodwork. You tear down the record books and banners, reducing your short-lived, diligent career to confetti. The stable hands and your former deputies scream and flee in terror as you go on a rampage, a whirlwind of golden armor and black iron. You are not just destroying the stables, you are obliterating the insult. You are tearing down the very symbol of your humiliation. This isn't a calculated rebellion. It's a pure, visceral expression of wounded pride. After reducing the entire imperial stables to a smoking ruin, you're still not satisfied. Leaving is not enough. You have to make a statement. You storm out of the wreckage, staff in hand, and march directly towards the southern gate of heaven, the way you came in. The celestial guards at the gate see you coming, a vision of fury, and they move to block your path. Halt! Their commander shouts. You are a celestial official. You cannot leave heaven without permission. You just laugh, harsh, grating sound. Official. I'm the official you get when you want your horses to not get sick. Out of my way. They draw their weapons, but they are no match for you. You are a blur of motion, your staff a whirling vortex of destruction. You don't kill them, but you send them flying, their divine armor dented and their celestial pride badly bruised. You batter your way through the gate and out of heaven. You perform a cloud somersault, and in a single, furious leap, you are back at the mountain of flowers and fruit. Your monkey subjects swarm out to greet you, overjoyed at your return. Your Majesty is back, they cheer. How did things go in heaven? What glorious position did they give you? You look at their innocent, happy faces, and your rage softens just a little, replaced by a steely resolve. Children, you announce, your voice ringing with authority. It's a long story, but the short version is the Jade Emperor doesn't know how to recognize talent. He gave me a demeaning, low-class job looking after his horses. I've already quit. You tell them the whole story, the insult of the Bimoan title, the condescension of the gods, and how you smashed the stables and fought your way out of heaven. Your monkeys are outraged on your behalf. They can't treat our king like that, they screech. If heaven won't honor you, then you must honor yourself. An old gibbon, one of your wisest advisors, steps forward. Your Majesty, with power like yours, what's to stop you from calling yourself a great sage? Why would you need them to give you a title? This idea strikes a chord with you. It's perfect. It's defiant. It's exactly the kind of self-aggrandizing move that appeals to your ego. Excellent, you declare. From this day forward, I am no longer the handsome Monkey King. I will be known by a new title. I am the Chitian Dashing, the great sage, equal to heaven. The title is a direct challenge, an audacious claim of parity with the Jade Emperor himself. In the rigid hierarchy of the cosmos, it is an act of supreme rebellion. The Ming Dynasty, during which Journey to the West was written, was notoriously strict about titles and ranks. Claiming a title you weren't given was an act of treason. You immediately have a massive banner made, flag of brilliant yellow silk. On it, in huge, bold characters, are the words, Great Sage, equal to heaven. You have it hoisted on a tall pole outside the water curtain cave, a defiant declaration visible for miles around. You are thumbing your nose at the entire celestial bureaucracy. Meanwhile, back in heaven, news of your desertion and rampage has reached the Jade Emperor. He is livid. His plan of peaceful co-option has backfired spectacularly. The gods who had smirked at your lowly appointment are now silent. The great white planet, who proposed the idea, looks particularly uncomfortable. The Jade Emperor pounds his throne. This insolent beast. First, he rejects our generosity, then he destroys our property, and now he has fled his post. Which of my generals will go down and capture this criminal? From the military ranks, two powerful deities step forward, the pagoda-bearing heavenly king, Li Jing, and his third son, the formidable Prince Neza. Neza is a famous warrior god in his own right, a young fiery deity who flies on wheels of wind and fire and wields a universe ring and a fire-tipped spear. A quirky detail about Neza from his own mythology, is that he once committed suicide to repay a debt of flesh to his parents before being resurrected in a body made of lotus root. He's a powerful, if complicated, figure. I will go. Neza volunteers, eager for a fight. The Jade Emperor grants their request. He gives King Li an army of celestial warriors and appoints him the Grand Marshal, demon-quelling subduer. They are to descend to the mountain of flowers and fruit, surround it and capture you, the self-proclaimed great sage, equal to heaven. The first punitive expedition from heaven is on its way. Your rebellion has just escalated into a full-blown war. Historians still argue whether your quick escalation to violence is a character flaw or an allegorical representation of the rebellious spirit against oppressive authority. Right now, it just feels like the only option. The celestial army descends from the heavens like a storm. Their banners blot out the sun, and the sound of their war drums is a rolling thunder that shakes the very roots of your mountain. King Li Jing sets up his command post in the clouds, his demon-reflecting pagoda held aloft, a beacon of heavenly authority. Prince Neza, impatient and spoiling for a fight, is appointed the vanguard. He flies down on his wind and fire wheels, a whirlwind of youthful divine fury, landing just outside the water curtain cave. Your monkey sentinels, terrified by the sight of this mighty host, rush to report to you. Your Majesty, a heavenly army has surrounded the mountain. Their general is a boy god with 6 arms, and he is challenging you to a battle. You are in the middle of teaching your monkey captains the finer points of brandishing a sword, but you just laugh when you hear the news. Let them come, you say, a grin spreading across your face. They're just in time to see the power of the great sage, equal to heaven. You grab your golden hoop staff, put on your golden armor, and stride out of the cave to meet the challenger. You see him there, Prince Neza, a truly impressive sight. He has magically sprouted 3 heads and 6 arms, and in each hand, he holds a different demonic weapon, a monster-slashing sword, a demon-hacking scimitar, a demon-binding rope, a demon-subduing pestle, a fiery ball, and his signature universe ring. He is a one-boy arsenal. You insolent stable monkey, Neza shouts, his young voice sharp with contempt. How dare you rebel against heaven? Surrender now, and I may spare your life. Who is this little pipsqueak? You sneer back, completely unintimidated. Go back to your celestial nursery. You're no match for me. The insults fly back and forth, each one more creative than the last. Finally, words are not enough. Neza hurls his universe ring at you. It flies through the air, a deadly golden discus. You simply duck, and it whistles harmlessly over your head. The battle is on. Neza is fast and fierce, his 6 weapons a blur of deadly motion. He attacks from every angle, his wind and fire wheels allowing him to dart around you with impossible speed. But you are faster. Your staff, which you wield with impossible grace, is a perfect defensive shield. You block every thrust, parry every slash. The clash of your iron staff against his divine weapons rings across the mountain. To counter his 6-armed form, you use one of your own tricks. You pluck out a handful of hairs, chew them up, and spit them out, transforming them into thousands of identical copies of yourself. The air is suddenly filled with monkey kings, each one with a staff, swarming towards Neza. Neza is bewildered. He doesn't know which one is the real you. While he's distracted, fighting off your clones, you sneak up behind him and give him a sharp crack on the arm with your staff. He cries out in pain, his magical form wavers, and his 6 arms retract back into 2. He knows he is beaten. Humiliated, he tucks his tail between his legs, metaphorically speaking, and retreats on his wind and fire wheels, flying back to his father's command post in the clouds to report his failure. King Li Jing is shocked that his seemingly invincible son has been defeated so easily. He sends his best generals, one after another, but the result is always the same. You are simply too powerful. You and your well-trained monkey army, fighting on your home turf, rout the celestial forces time and again. The heavenly soldiers, so used to orderly battles in the celestial planes, are no match for the chaotic, guerrilla-style warfare of your monkey troops, who swing from trees and emerge from hidden caves. It's a complete disaster for Heaven's army. King Li is forced to sound a general retreat and withdraws his forces to lick their wounds. He then sends a somber report back to the Jade Emperor. The rebel is stronger than anticipated. The mission is a failure. Back in the Hall of Miraculous Mist, the news is met with stunned silence. The Jade Emperor is at a loss. This monkey is proving to be more than just a nuisance. He's a genuine threat. Just as he is about to order a larger, more powerful army to be assembled, the Great White Planet, the old star god of peace, steps forward once again. "Your Majesty," he says, his voice calm and reasonable. "This monkey has proven his martial prowess. He clearly has supernatural abilities. Since he so desperately wants the title Great Sage, equal to heaven, perhaps we should just grant it to him." The other gods are aghast. Appease him again? One of them sputters. But that would be admitting defeat. "Not at all," the Great White Planet replies smoothly. "We will give him the title, but make it an empty one. A rank without any actual duties or salary. It will be a hollow honor. This will satisfy his vanity and lure him back to heaven. Once he is here, under our watch, we can prevent him from causing any more trouble on earth. It is a small price to pay for peace and order." The idea of giving a rebel a fake job to keep him quiet is a classic political maneuver, seen in many cultures throughout history. It's the art of managing a problem by giving it a fancy title and a corner office with no real power. The Jade Emperor, weary of the conflict and seeing the logic in the plan, agrees. He once again dispatches the Great White Planet as his envoy. The old god descends to your mountain, this time not with a summons, but with a promotion. You see him coming and prepare for another fight, thinking he's here to demand your surrender. But he smiles and holds up his hands in peace. "Great Sage," he calls out, using your new title. "I bring good news. The Jade Emperor has heard of your great power and has reconsidered. He agrees that the title of Protector of the Horses was beneath you. He has officially decreed that you shall be known as the Great Sage, equal to heaven, and invites you to return to heaven to accept your new, prestigious position. Your ego, which was already the size of a small planet, inflates to galactic proportions. You have won. You have forced the Jade Emperor himself to recognize your greatness. You laugh, a booming, triumphant sound that echoes across the valleys. See, you crow to your monkey subjects. I told you they'd come around. You accept the offer immediately, completely buying the story. You once again leave your monkey kingdom in the care of your generals, and for the second time, you ascend to heaven, convinced that you have finally achieved the status you deserve. Historians still argue whether the celestial court's repeated underestimation of you is a commentary on the arrogance of power or simply a necessary plot element to build you up as an epic hero. Either way, you're heading back, and this time you expect a much better office. Your second arrival in heaven is markedly different from your first. This time, there's no pretense, no trickery, at least, not that you can see. The celestial guards at the southern gate, the same ones you roughed up on your way out, now bow respectfully. Word has spread. You are no longer the lowly stable monkey. You are the newly minted Great Sage, equal to heaven. The Great White Planet leads you once again to the Hall of Miraculous Mist, but this time, the reception is one of grudging respect. The Jade Emperor, true to his word, officially proclaims your new title. He then turns to his ministers. "Since we have given the Great Sage this grand title," he announces, "we cannot very well leave him with nothing to do. That would be unseemly. We must give him a post and a salary, lest he get bored and cause trouble again. This is the classic bureaucratic solution. Keep the problem child busy with makework." He asks the Minister of Works to construct the new official residence for you. A palace of the Great Sage is to be built immediately, right next to the most famous garden in all of heaven. You are delighted. A palace of your very own. 2 officials from the Ministry of Rites are assigned to be your personal attendants, your celestial aides de camp. They escort you to your new office and residence. It's a fine building, hastily constructed but still impressive, with all the proper celestial furnishings. For a while, you are perfectly content. You have the title you wanted. You have a palace. You have attendants. You spend your days visiting the other gods, making friends, and generally enjoying your newfound status. You are, for all intents and purposes, a tenured member of the Celestial Club. But there's a problem. Your title, Great Sage equal to heaven, is just that, a title. You have no actual responsibilities. No department to run, no real power to wield. You are an official with an impressive business card, but an empty inbox. You spend your days in idle roaming, which is a polite way of saying you wander around heaven with nothing to do. And an idle monkey king, as the celestial court is about to learn, is a dangerous monkey king. You start to get bored. You get restless. You start looking for things to occupy your time. The gods, who were initially wary of you, begin to see you as a harmless, if eccentric colleague. They invite you to their celestial gatherings. You are a bit loud, a bit uncouth, but you are also charismatic and powerful, and they cautiously accept you. This period of peace, however, is making some of the higher-ranking deities nervous. They see you, with your immense power and boundless energy, completely unoccupied. An advisory council of gods goes to the Jade Emperor. Your Majesty, one of them says, this Sun Wukong, the great sage, is currently idle. He has no duties. It is said that when a man is idle, he is tempted to mischief. We fear he may get into trouble if he remains unemployed. The Jade Emperor sees their point. He's been walking on eggshells around you, trying not to offend you again, but the counselors are right. He needs to find you a job, a real sounding one this time. Something that seems important but is actually harmless. He summons you to the main hall. Great Sage, he says with a friendly, managerial smile. We feel that your talents are being wasted in idleness. We have decided to give you a new, very important responsibility. We are appointing you as the guardian of the Garden of Immortal Peaches. He makes it sound like a huge promotion. The Garden of Immortal Peaches is no ordinary orchard. It is tended by the Queen Mother of the West, one of the most ancient and powerful deities in the Taoist pantheon. The peaches it produces are the source of longevity for the gods themselves. A grand banquet is held every few thousand years where these peaches are served, allowing the celestial beings to renew their immortality. The Queen Mother of the West is a fascinating figure in Chinese mythology. Originally, she was a fierce, wild goddess of the mountains, sometimes depicted with tiger's teeth and a leopard's tail. Over the centuries, she was softened into a more graceful, regal figure, the hostess of the celestial court. This transformation reflects a broader historical trend of incorporating and domesticating wild, ancient deities into the structured Taoist system. You hear the words guardian and immortal peaches, and you are thrilled. This sounds incredibly prestigious. Protecting the very source of immortality for the gods. That's a job with some real cosmic weight. I accept, you declare, overjoyed at this new mark of trust and respect. You have no idea that you have just been made a gardener. A very, very high-status gardener, but a gardener nonetheless. It's another make-work job designed to keep you out of trouble. They've essentially put the fox in charge of the henhouse, or in this case, the monkey in charge of the peach orchard. You are escorted to your new post by your attendants. The Garden of Immortal Peaches is a breathtaking sight. It's a vast, walled paradise, filled with ancient, gnarled trees heavy with fruit. The air is sweet with the scent of blossoms and ripe peaches. A host of fairies and celestial maidens are there, tending to the trees. Your new subordinates, the burners of incense, the sweepers of the grounds, and the local earth god of the garden, all come out to greet you and show you around. They explain the layout. The garden is divided into 3 sections. In the first, there are 1,200 trees. The peaches here are small, ripen every 3,000 years, and eating one makes a person an immortal. In the second section, there are another 1,200 trees. These peaches are larger, ripen every 6,000 years, and eating one grants eternal youth and the ability to fly. In the innermost, most sacred section, there are 1,200 more trees. These are the oldest and most powerful. Their peaches are a deep, beautiful purple. They ripen only once every 9,000 years. Eating one of these makes a person as eternal as heaven and earth, as long-lived as the sun and the moon. You are in awe. This is the heart of celestial power. You take your new duties very seriously. You make a thorough inspection of the grounds. You count the trees. You check the ripeness of the fruit. For a time, you are once again the model employee, the diligent guardian. But you're also a monkey, and you're in a garden full of the most delicious-looking peaches in all of creation. It's only a matter of time before temptation gets the better of you. Historians still argue whether the peach garden is a metaphor for the temptations of material attachment that hinders spiritual progress, or if it's just a really, really nice orchard. For now, you're just admiring the merchandise. You settle into your role as the guardian of the garden of immortal peaches with a sense of genuine purpose. You swagger through the groves, your golden armor glinting in the soft, celestial light, feeling every bit the important official. You chat with the fairy maidens who tend the trees and question the local earth god about soil conditions. You are, for a short while, completely absorbed by your new responsibility. But your curiosity, a trait as fundamental to your nature as your tail, begins to stir. One day, you pull aside one of the garden attendants. "These peaches," you say, gesturing to a tree laden with particularly plump, rosy fruit. "They look delicious. How do they taste?" The attendant looks nervous. "Great sage," he stammers, "these are no ordinary fruit. They are the source of life for the gods. They are only to be picked for the great peach banquet held by the Queen Mother of the West." You nod, pretending to be satisfied with the answer, but a seed of an idea has been planted. An immortal-making fruit? You who quested for a decade to learn the secret of eternal life are now surrounded by it. A few days later, you're making your rounds. You see that the peaches on the oldest trees, the ones that ripen only every 9,000 years, are looking particularly succulent. Their purple skins are glistening, and the air around them is thick with an intoxicatingly sweet aroma. You can't resist. You need to know what immortality tastes like. You dismiss all the attendants and the earth god, telling them you wish to rest and meditate alone in the pavilion for a while. As soon as they are gone, you clamber up one of the ancient, gnarled trees with the practiced ease of a monkey born to climb. You pick one of the giant, purple peaches. It feels heavy in your hand, humming with a latent power. You take a bite. The flavor is an explosion of pure bliss, a taste so divine it's beyond any earthly description. A wave of cosmic energy flows through you, warming you from the inside out. It's the best thing you have ever eaten. You devour the entire peach, pit and all. Then you have another, and another. You hop from branch to branch, from tree to tree, feasting on only the largest, ripest, most powerful peaches from the 9,000-year-old grove. You eat your fill until you are bloated and satisfied. Then, feeling a bit drowsy, you shrink yourself down to the size of your thumb, find a comfortable branch high in a canopy, and take a nap. This becomes your new routine. Every few days, you find an excuse to be alone in the garden, and you help yourself to the divine fruit. You are systematically depleting heaven's most valuable resource, one delicious peach at a time. The concept of an elixir or fruit of immortality is a common theme in many world mythologies, from the golden apples of the Hesperides in Greek myth to the soma of Vedic tradition. The peaches of the Queen Mother of the West are China's most famous contribution to this global mythical pantry. Your secret feasting goes unnoticed for some time. But the Grand Peach Banquet is approaching. The Queen Mother of the West begins her preparations for the celestial party of the millennium. She sends out 7 of her fairy maidens, her personal attendants, with flower baskets to go and pick the peaches for the feast. The fairies arrive at the garden and show their imperial order to the local god and the attendants. "We are here to pick peaches for the banquet," they announce. "Where is the great sage, the guardian?" The staff replies that you've been meditating in the trees for the last few days. The fairies, unconcerned, enter the garden and begin their work. They start with the 3,000-year-old trees, filling their baskets with a blushing pink fruit. Then they move to the 6,000-year-old grove. But when they get to the innermost, most sacred section, the grove of the 9,000-year-old peaches, they stop in dismay. The branches are nearly bare. All the large, ripe peaches are gone. Only a few small green, unripe ones remain, hanging forlornly on the boughs. Here and there, they find a broken branch or a discarded peach pit. They search in confusion, wondering what could have happened. One of the fairies looks up into the canopy of a particularly large tree and sees something strange. Hidden amongst the leaves is what looks like a small, fuzzy, unripe peach. But it has a face, and it's snoring. It's you, napping off your latest binge, having transformed yourself for camouflage. "There's the guardian," she whispers. "He's asleep up there." She reaches up and gives you a gentle shake to wake you. "Great sage, we need to." You are startled from your pleasant, peach-filled dream. In your groggy, half-awake state, you see the fairy's face looming over you, and you react instinctively. You resume your normal size, pull out your golden hoop staff, and shout, "What demon dares to disturb my sleep?" The fairies all scream in terror. "No, great sage, don't hurt us," the head fairy cries out. "We are the handmaidens of the Queen Mother, here to pick peaches for the banquet." The word banquet catches your attention. Your anger instantly vanishes, replaced by keen, self-interested curiosity. "A banquet, you ask? What banquet is this? And more importantly, am I invited?" The fairies, still trembling, explain all about the peach banquet, the most exclusive party in heaven. They list the guests: the Buddhas of the West, the Bodhisattvas, the great immortals, the Star Lords, the Dragon Kings, everyone who is anyone in the cosmic hierarchy. They go through the whole guest list. Your name is not on it. The realization dawns on you. It's the stable monkey incident all over again. They gave you this grand title, this important-sounding job, but when it comes to the real A-list events, you're still not included. You are the guardian of the peaches, but you're not considered worthy to eat one at the official party. The insult is profound. Historians still argue whether your exclusion was a deliberate snub or a simple bureaucratic oversight. Given their history with you, a snub seems more likely. A quirky fringe tidbit: some folk versions of the story suggest that the guest list was drawn up before you were even given the guardian title, and the celestial bureaucracy was just too inefficient to update it. Either way, you feel slighted. And a slighted monkey king is a recipe for cosmic chaos. You decide right then and there that if you can't go to the party as a guest, you'll go as something else. "Don't worry, ladies," you say, a mischievous, dangerous glint in your eye. "You stay right here. I'll go and check on the preparations for the banquet myself." You then use a powerful immobilization spell, freezing the 7 fairies in place, their faces locked in expressions of horror. With the only witnesses temporarily out of commission, you leap out of the garden, heading for the banquet hall, ready to crash the party of the century. You leave the 7 paralyzed fairies standing like statues amongst the plundered peach trees and make your way towards the Jade Pond, where the banquet is to be held. Your mind is racing. Not invited. After all you've done for them, well, after all the trouble you've avoided causing them recently, they still see you as an outsider. The humiliation stings more than any physical blow. You decide that you're not just going to crash this party, you're going to experience it before anyone else does. As you're flying towards the banquet hall, you see a figure approaching on a cloud. It's the barefooted great immortal, one of the high-ranking guests, on his way to the party. An idea, as brilliant as it is devious, pops into your head. You intercept him, putting on your most charming and official-sounding voice. "Great immortal, Where are you headed in such a hurry? The immortal, who knows you as the great sage, bows politely. I am on my way to the peach banquet, at the invitation of the Queen Mother. Ah, yes, you say, nodding sagely. There's been a change of plans. The Jade Emperor has decreed that, due to the sheer number of guests, there will be a dress rehearsal first. All guests are to go to the Hall of Universal Brightness for a preliminary ceremony before proceeding to the main event. He sent me to inform everyone. The barefooted great immortal is a simple, trusting soul. He doesn't question it. An order from the Jade Emperor, relayed by the great sage himself. It must be true. He thanks you for the information, changes direction, and heads off towards the wrong hall. The use of deception and trickery is a key element of your character. Why have immense power? You often prefer to win through cunning and wit, a trait that makes you a classic trickster figure in world literature. As soon as he's out of sight, you shake your body and transform. You become a perfect replica of the barefooted great immortal, right down to his dusty feet and simple robes. Now in disguise, you proceed confidently to the Jade Pond. You arrive at the site of the banquet, and it's even more magnificent than you imagined. The preparations are almost complete. Long tables are laden with cosmic delicacies: dragon liver, phoenix marrow, bear paws, and ape lips. The celestial menu is apparently not very vegan-friendly. The air is fragrant with the scent of 1,000 exotic flowers and the simmering of jade liquor. The celestial brewers and caterers are bustling about, making the final arrangements. They see you, or rather, the immortal you're pretending to be, and they bow respectfully. You wander among them, nodding benevolently, your eyes taking in every detail. You spot the giant vats of imperial wine, a nectar so potent it can make an immortal drunk. The aroma is irresistible. You wait for the attendants to turn their backs, then you dip your hand in and take a large gulp. It's even better than the peach you ate. You take another. You find the whole process of waiting for the party to start incredibly tedious. You want to sample everything now. You pluck a few hairs, turn them into sleep-inducing insects, and have them buzz around the heads of all the attendants. One by one, the brewers, the bakers, and the servers yawn, stretch, and fall into a deep, magical slumber, collapsing into snoring piles around the kitchen. Now you have the entire banquet to yourself. You leap onto the tables and begin your feast. You gorge yourself on the rarest foods of heaven. You drink deeply from the vats of immortal wine until you are stumbling and seeing double. In your drunken, gluttonous state, you are a whirlwind of chaos, turning the meticulously prepared banquet into a disaster zone. After you've had your fill of food and drink, you stagger out of the hall, completely intoxicated. This is not good. You mumble to yourself, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I better go home and sleep this off. But in your drunken haze, you can't fly straight. Instead of heading back to your own palace, you stumble in the wrong direction and end up in the Tushatap Palace, the celestial residence of the supreme Taoist deity, Lord Laozi. Lord Laozi is one of the most revered figures in the Taoist pantheon, the great alchemist and philosopher, the very embodiment of the Tao. He's not at home. He's over at the Hall of Universal Brightness, attending the fake dress rehearsal you invented, along with the barefooted great immortal and several other deities you presumably misdirected along the way. You blunder into Laozi's private alchemy laboratory. The fires in the crucibles are still burning low. On a table nearby, you see 5 gourds. You open one. Inside are shimmering, golden pills. These are not just any pills. These are Laozi's famous pills of immortality, the product of countless eons of alchemical refinement. They are the most powerful substance in all of heaven, a concentrate of pure cosmic energy. This practice of external alchemy or Waidan was a real, though often dangerous, pursuit among Taoists in ancient China, who sought to create elixirs of long life from minerals like cinnabar and gold. Your drunken brain thinks, ooh, celestial candy. You don't just sample one. You tip the gourd back and swallow the entire batch like a handful of peanuts. Then you move on to the next gourd, and the next, until you have eaten every single pill of immortality from all 5 gourds. You have just consumed a dose of cosmic power, so immense it's practically unquantifiable. The wine, the peaches, and now the pills all begin to react inside you. You feel a surge of energy, so profound it sobers you up instantly. The full gravity of what you have done crashes down on you. "Oh, this is bad," you whisper. "This is really bad." You have stolen the peaches, crashed the banquet, and now you've eaten the personal elixir stash of the most powerful Taoist god. The consequences for this will be far, far worse than being made a stable boy. There will be no talking your way out of this one. You have to flee. You sneak out of the Tushita Palace, make your way stealthily to the southern gate of heaven, and for the second time, you desert your post and flee back to the mortal world. You have committed a series of crimes so audacious, so blasphemous, that the celestial authorities will have no choice but to respond with overwhelming force. Historians still argue whether your rampage was a critique of gluttony and desire or a celebration of the untamable spirit of rebellion. Right now, it's just a prelude to the biggest celestial war in history. The moment you sober up in Lord Lousie's laboratory, the party is well and truly over. The combined power of the immortal peaches, the celestial wine, and now the ultra-concentrated pills of immortality is coursing through your veins. You feel invincible, but also acutely aware that you have crossed a line from which there is no return. Your previous rebellions were misdemeanors. This is a capital crime against the entire cosmic order. You flee heaven in a panic, a single, desperate cloud somersault carrying you back to the familiar safety of the mountain of flowers and fruit. You burst into the water-curtained cave, wild-eyed and agitated. Your monkey generals gather around, alarmed by your state. "Your Majesty, what happened? We thought you were enjoying your high office in heaven." You shake your head, still reeling from the enormity of your actions. The words enjoying and heaven don't go together, you tell them. The Jade Emperor is a petty, deceitful tyrant. I wrecked his party and ate a bunch of his best stuff. Now he's going to be furious. We must prepare for war. You immediately order your monkey army to drill and prepare for an invasion. Meanwhile, back in heaven, the aftermath of your rampage is being discovered. First, the 7 fairy maidens, whom you left frozen in the peach garden, are found and released by the Queen Mother herself. They tearfully recount the story of the great peach theft. The Queen Mother rushes to the Jade Emperor to report the crime. At the same time, the celestial caterers in the banquet hall wake from their magical slumber to find a feast in ruins, the wine vats empty, and the guest of honor long gone. Then the barefooted great immortal arrives, complaining that he waited for hours at the Hall of Universal Brightness for a dress rehearsal that never happened. Finally, a distraught Lord Lousy reports the theft of his entire supply of immortal elixir, the culmination of millennia of alchemical work. The reports pile up on the Jade Emperor's desk, each one more shocking than the last. The entire celestial court is in an uproar. Your crimes are listed out, a litany of cosmic delinquency, dereliction of duty, theft of immortal peaches, ruining the celestial banquet, deceiving a high-ranking immortal, trespassing in the Tushita Palace, and worst of all, stealing the pills of immortality. There will be no more placating you, no more empty titles or make-work jobs. The Jade Emperor, his face a mask of thunderous rage, slams his hand on the throne. "This vile monkey has gone too far," he roars, his voice shaking the foundations of the hall. "Issue the order. I want every available warrior, every general, every god of war. Assemble the full might of the celestial army." He appoints the pagoda-bearing heavenly king, Li Jing, as the grand marshal once again. This time, however, he's not just getting a small detachment. He is given command of the 4 great heavenly kings, the 28 constellations, the 9 luminaries, the 12 horary branches, every major and minor deity of war in the celestial roster. An army of 100,000 celestial soldiers is mustered, a force of unimaginable power. This time, their descent is not just a warning. It is an apocalypse. They arrive at the mountain of flowers and fruit and cast a net of heaven and earth above and below, an inescapable magical siege grid that covers the entire area for thousands of miles. The sky darkens with their numbers, and the air crackles with the energy of 100,000 divine warriors preparing for battle. The scale of this response is monumental. In Chinese history, armies of 100,000 were typically reserved for major, decisive campaigns against powerful external threats, like the Xiongnu or Mongol nomads. The Jade Emperor is treating you like a foreign invader, a threat to the very stability of his empire. King Li Jing, still smarting from his previous defeat, sets up his command post and sends his vanguard, the 9 luminaries, the gods of the sun, moon, and the 5 visible planets, plus 2 other astral deities to challenge you. They are powerful star gods, each one a formidable warrior. They fly down and shout your crimes at the entrance to the Water Curtain Cave, demanding your surrender. You, however, are completely unfazed. You've had a nap, digested your celestial super meal, and are feeling more powerful than ever. You lead your own army out to meet them. Tell your master Li Jing, you shout back at the 9 luminaries, to tell the Jade Emperor that he is a fool. This mountain belongs to me, and the title of Great Sage is mine by right. If he recognizes that, I might consider letting this go. If not, I will march on his celestial palace and drag him from his throne myself. It's a declaration of open rebellion, a vow to overthrow the government. The battle that ensues is ferocious. The 9 luminaries attack you all at once, a coordinated assault of cosmic forces. But you are a whirlwind of destruction. The pills of immortality have made you virtually indestructible. Your body is as hard as diamond. Their swords, spears, and axes bounce harmlessly off your skin. You, on the other hand, wield your golden hooped staff with devastating effect. You fight all 9 of them to a standstill, your single staff a match for all their divine weapons combined. Seeing the battle is not going their way, your monkey army charges. Your 72,000 monkeys, armed with the weapons you forged for them and drilled to perfection, clash with the vanguard of the celestial host. The mountain becomes a chaotic battlefield, with the shrieks of monkeys mingling with the war cries of the gods. You press your advantage against the 9 luminaries, and one by one you defeat them, sending them retreating in disarray back to King Li's command post. King Li is horrified. His elite vanguard has been routed by a single monkey. He sends out the 4 great heavenly kings and the 28 constellations to join the fray. The battle escalates, becoming a massive, swirling melee that engulfs the entire mountain. But your power seems limitless. You create thousands of clones of yourself with your magic hairs, and each clone is a formidable fighter. The celestial army, despite its vast numbers, is thrown into confusion. They can't tell which monkey king is real, and they are overwhelmed by the sheer, chaotic ferocity of your assault. A quirky fringe tidbit about the 28 constellations is that they aren't just military gods. They are the divine personifications of the lunar lodges in Chinese astronomy, ancient star groupings used for calendrical and astrological purposes. You are literally fighting the zodiac. The first day of the Great War ends in a stunning victory for you. The celestial army, bruised, battered, and demoralized, is forced to pull back and regroup. You have single-handedly defeated the combined might of heaven's greatest generals. Your reputation as an unstoppable rebel is now cemented. But the Jade Emperor is not a man to give up easily. He has one more card to play, a warrior so powerful, so renowned, that he is considered the greatest general in all of heaven. He is about to call on his own nephew for help. The war is far from over. Historians still argue whether your solitary stand against a vast army is an allegory for individualism against conformity or a folktale celebrating the power of a single, determined hero against impossible odds. Right now, it just feels like you're winning. The news of your victory against the celestial army of 100,000 sends shockwaves through heaven. King Li Jing's report to the Jade Emperor is grim. The rebel monkey is preternaturally strong. His body is invulnerable, and his fighting skills are unmatched. The celestial court is in a state of anxious despair. How can one creature defy the entire pantheon? The Jade Emperor is frustrated and humiliated. It's at this moment that the Bodhisattva Guanyin, the goddess of mercy, who has been observing the proceedings, steps forward. "Your Majesty," she says, her voice a beacon of calm in the chaotic court. "There is one warrior who might be a match for this monkey. He is a great sage of immense power, currently residing at the mouth of the river of libations. I speak of your own nephew, the illustrious sage Erlang Shen." The Jade Emperor's face brightens. Erlang Shen is his nephew, yes, but their relationship is complicated. Erlang's mother, the Emperor's sister, had married a mortal man, a union that was forbidden. As punishment, the Jade Emperor had imprisoned her under a mountain. Erlang, once he grew up, cleaved the mountain with an axe to free his mother, an act of rebellion that mirrored your own defiance. Because of this history, Erlang holds no official post in heaven and keeps to himself, but his power is legendary. The Jade Emperor immediately issues a decree, dispatching a messenger to summon Erlang Shen and his personal army of demon-hunting brothers. Erlang agrees to help, not out of loyalty to his uncle, but for the good of the cosmos, and perhaps because the challenge of fighting you intrigues him. He arrives at the mountain of flowers and fruit with his own elite troops and his faithful companion, the celestial howling hound. He is a magnificent figure, a handsome, proud warrior with third truth-seeing eye in the center of his forehead. Erlang challenges you to a one-on-one duel, sage to sage. You accept with relish. This is the kind of fight you live for. You stride out to meet him, and the two of you stand facing each other, the armies of heaven and the hordes of monkeys falling silent, watching in anticipation. "I hear they made you the protector of the horses," Erlang taunts. "And then you stole the peaches and the pills. You've got quite a criminal record. Surrender now, and I'll argue for leniency." Save your breath, you retort. "Let's see if your skills are as sharp as your tongue." The duel begins. You and Erlang are perfectly matched. He is a master of combat, his three-pointed, double-edged spear a deadly weapon. You are a whirlwind of motion with your golden hoop staff. For 300 rounds, you fight blow for blow, parry for parry. The clash of your weapons echoes like thunder. Neither of you can gain an advantage. You are equal in strength, speed, and skill. Realizing that he cannot beat you with pure martial arts, you decide to use your other talents. You give a great shout, shake your body, and transform into your giant cosmic form, your head as high as a mountain, your staff now a pillar holding up the sky. Erlang is not intimidated. He laughs and performs the same transformation, becoming a colossal giant himself. Two titans now battle on the mountainside, their blows shaking the earth. But this, too, is a stalemate. So you change tactics again. You shrink down, turn into a sparrow, and fly away. This is where the battle truly becomes legendary. Erlang, using his third eye, sees through your disguise instantly. He transforms into a sparrowhawk and dives after you. You, seeing the hawk, dive into a stream and become a fish. Erlang lands on the bank, transforms into a cormorant, and waits to catch you. You see the cormorant, leap from the water, and become a water snake on the shore. Erlang immediately becomes a gray crane, a snake-eating bird, and swoops down to peck at you. The Battle of Transformations is a dizzying, spectacular display of shape-shifting prowess. This sequence is one of the most famous in all of Chinese literature, a pure showcase of imaginative, magical combat. You turn into a bustard, a low-flying bird, and Erlang shoots at you with a magic bow. You tumble out of the sky, and to escape, you turn into something mundane and inconspicuous, a small roadside temple dedicated to Erlang Shen himself. It's a brilliantly cheeky move. Your mouth becomes the temple gate, your teeth the doors, your tongue the statue of the god, and your eyes the windows. The only problem is your tail. You can't figure out what to do with it, so you stick it straight up behind the temple and magically stiffen it into a flagpole. Erlang pursues you and sees the temple. He's about to move on when his third eye notices something odd. That's a new temple, he thinks. But why is there a flagpole sticking out the back? The flagpole is the dead giveaway. He sees through your disguise. Instead of attacking you directly, he decides to play along. A fine temple, he says aloud. I'll go in and pay my respects. But first, I think I'll knock out these windows. You, hearing this, realize the jig is up. Just as he raises his spear to smash your eyes, you abandon the temple form and vanish in a puff of smoke. You fly back to the water curtain cave, thinking you've given him the slip. But Erlang is right behind you. Your monkey children, seeing you return, pour out of the cave to protect you, but Erlang's demon-hunting brothers intercept them, and a massive battle erupts. You are trapped. Erlang blocks the entrance to your cave. It seems you are cornered. But the battle is being watched from above. Lord Lousy, still fuming about his stolen pills, is with Guanine and the Jade Emperor. That monkey is slippery, Lousy says. He's giving Erlang a run for his money. I think I'll give Erlang a little help. He takes a diamond bracelet from his wrist, a powerful magical weapon called the Diamond Snare. I'll just toss this down and hit him on the head. That should distract him enough for Erlang to capture him. The use of a sneak attack by a high-ranking deity to end a fair fight is a fascinating detail. Historians still argue whether this portrays the gods as pragmatic or as unsporting cheaters who can't win on their own terms. Lousy throws the diamond snare. Down below, you are fighting desperately against Erlang at the mouth of your cave. Suddenly, the diamond ring comes hurtling out of the sky and smacks you squarely on the top of the head. You are stunned, you stumble, and your legs give way. In that one moment of weakness, you fall to the ground. Before you can recover, Erlang's celestial howling hound leaps forward and bites your leg, holding you fast. Erlang and his brothers rush in, bind you with ropes, and pierce your collarbone with a hook so you can't transform. At last, after a battle that shook heaven and earth, you, the great sage equal to heaven, are captured. You are dragged back to heaven in chains, a prisoner of war. The celestial soldiers who were once routed by your ferocity now jeer and celebrate as you are paraded through the celestial streets towards the Hall of Miraculous Mist. Your monkey army has been subdued, and your rebellion, it seems, has been crushed. You are brought before the Jade Emperor, who looks down at you from his throne with a grim, triumphant satisfaction. King Li Jing and Erlang Shin stand beside him, the victors of the Great War. Take this monstrous rebel to the demon-executing tower, the Jade Emperor commands. Have him sliced into 1,000 pieces for his crimes. This is the standard celestial capital punishment. You are hauled away by the guards and tied to a pillar at the top of the tower. The celestial executioners sharpen their blades. The mood is grim but celebratory. The great menace is about to be permanently neutralized. The head executioner gives the signal, and a team of powerful gods descend upon you with their sharpest swords and axes. They hack and slash at you with all their might. But something strange happens. Their blades, which can cleave mountains, simply bounce off your skin with a loud clang, creating a shower of sparks. They can't even leave. They try again with spears and halberds, but the result is the same. Your body, fortified by the peaches, the wine, and especially Lord Lousy's pills, has become truly indestructible. The executioners report their failure to the Jade Emperor. He is flabbergasted. He is immune to blades, he asks in disbelief. Fine. Then use fire. He orders the gods of the Southern Gate, who are masters of celestial fire, to burn you. They place you in the center of a roaring divine inferno, a fire so hot it could melt stars. You just sit there, a bit annoyed by the heat, but otherwise completely unharmed. The fire cannot singe a single hair on your body. The Emperor is now growing desperate. If fire doesn't work, then try lightning, he bellows. He commands the god of thunder, Lagong, to strike you with his most powerful thunderbolts. Lagong, a fearsome deity with a bird's beak and bat wings who creates thunder with a drum and chisel, ascends to the sky above the tower. He unleashes a volley of apocalyptic lightning bolts that strike you directly. The noise is deafening, and the light is blinding. But when the smoke clears, you are still there, chained to the pillar, looking slightly irritated, as if you've just been pestered by a particularly loud mosquito. You haven't got a single burn mark. The entire celestial court is now at a complete loss. They have captured their greatest enemy, but they have no way to execute him. He is an indestructible prisoner. This is a major theological problem. How can the supreme authorities of the cosmos be unable to punish a criminal? It undermines their very claim to power. The Jade Emperor slumps on his throne, a picture of divine frustration. All of his power, all of his armies, all of his executioners are useless against this one stubborn monkey. It is at this point that Lord Lousy, still smarting from the loss of his elixir, steps forward with a suggestion. "Your Majesty," he says, his voice carrying the weight of ancient wisdom, "there is a reason this monkey is so resilient. He has consumed the peaches of immortality, drunk the imperial wine, and most importantly, he has stolen and eaten my pills of immortality, the product of my finest alchemical work. He has essentially cooked and assimilated the elixir inside his own body. That is why water cannot drown him, fire cannot burn him, and weapons cannot harm him. He has forged his own internal immortality." He pauses, letting the implications sink in. "But I have a solution," he continues. "Let me take him. I will place him in my 8 trigrams crucible. This is no ordinary furnace. It is the crucible I use to refine my elixirs, powered by the purest samadhi fire. I will cook him with both civil and martial flames. Over time, the crucible will separate the elixir from his body, melting him down and returning my precious pills to their original form. And as a bonus, his mortal body will be reduced to ash." The Jade Emperor seizes on this idea with relief. It's a perfect solution. It will destroy you, and it will allow Lousy to recover his stolen property. It's a win-win. He gives the order immediately. You are unchained from the execution pillar and handed over to Lord Lousy. You are still bound with ropes, the hook still in your collarbone, so you are powerless to resist. Lousy and his attendants drag you away from the cheering crowds and take you back to the Tushita Palace, to his private alchemical laboratory. You are brought before the legendary 8 trigrams crucible. It's a massive bronze vessel, intricately carved with the 8 trigrams of the I Ching, the fundamental symbols representing the dynamic forces of the universe. This isn't just a piece of equipment. It's a sacred cosmological device. The 8 trigrams, heaven, earth, thunder, wind, water, fire, mountain, and lake, are fundamental concepts in Taoist philosophy, representing the building blocks of reality. By placing you in this crucible, Lousy isn't just cooking you, he's attempting to unmake you using the very forces of creation. Lousy's attendants open the heavy lid of the crucible and, despite your struggles, they shove you inside. They slam the lid shut and seal it tight. Lousy then instructs his acolytes to stoke the fires. He wants the strongest flames, the most intense heat. As the crucible begins to glow red-hot, you are trapped in the roaring darkness inside, the heat rising to an unbearable level. Lord Lousy settles into wait. He believes that in 49 days, all that will be left of you is a pile of ash and a fresh batch of reconstituted elixir. He is confident that this time, there will be no escape. The ultimate punishment has begun. Historians still argue whether this scene is an allegory for spiritual purification through trial and suffering, or a straightforward depiction of an attempted divine execution. For you trapped in the cosmic oven, it just feels incredibly hot. A quirky fringe tidbit: alchemical crucibles in ancient China were often seen as microcosms of the universe, where the transformation of base metals into gold mirrored the spiritual transformation of the practitioner. You are now the base metal in the grandest alchemical experiment ever attempted. You are sealed inside the 8 trigrams crucible. The darkness is absolute, and the roar of the flames outside is a constant, deafening thunder. The heat intensifies, a crushing, searing pressure that would vaporize any lesser being in an instant. This is Lord Lousy's masterwork, a furnace designed to break down the very essence of things. For any other creature in the cosmos, this would be the end. But for you, it is a crucible in more than just name. It is a trial that will forge you into something even greater. Lord Lousy, confident in his methods, has made one critical error. He placed you in the crucible under the trigram symbol for wind, Shuan. In the mystical science of the 8 trigrams, the position of wind is one of the few that has no fire. It is a small, safe pocket, a blind spot in the otherwise perfect inferno. You, with your quick wits, realize this almost immediately. You curl up in this one corner, huddling in a space where the celestial winds are drawn into the furnace to fan the flames. The smoke is thick and chokes you, making your eyes water and burn, but the fire itself cannot touch you directly. For 49 days you endure. The constant, intense heat of the crucible, while not destroying you, begins to have an unintended effect. Remember the peaches, the wine, and the pills? They weren't just sitting in your stomach. They had become part of you, but they were still distinct, undigested sources of power. Now, in the unrelenting heat of Lousy's furnace, they begin to melt. They fuse together. They meld with your very being, reforging you on a molecular, spiritual level. The crucible, intended to smelt the immortality out of you, is instead smelting it into you, making your body even harder, your spirit even more potent. It's the ultimate alchemical backfire. Lord Lousy thinks he's purifying his elixir. Instead, he's purifying you. The smoke is the worst part. For 49 days, it billows around you, a constant acrid stream that forces its way into your eyes. The smoke, generated by the divine fire, is a powerful irritant. It permanently stains your pupils, burning them from their normal color to a brilliant, fiery gold. The pain is immense, but it grants you a new, incredible power. When you emerge, you will have what the story calls Huiyin fiery eyes golden gaze. This new vision will allow you to see through any disguise, any illusion, any deception, recognizing evil and falsehood in whatever form it takes. This transformation is a classic example of a boon from a bane, where a hero gains a new power from the very thing meant to destroy them. On the 49th day, Lord Lousy deems the process complete. He is certain that you have been reduced to ash. He orders his attendants to extinguish the flames and open the crucible. He is anticipating a nice, clean pile of reconstituted pills. The attendants heave open the heavy lid. A cloud of stale, pent-up smoke billows out. Lousy leans over, peering into the darkness, ready to collect his prize. What he sees instead is 2 burning, golden points of light. And then, with a roar that shakes the Tushatop Palace to its foundations, you leap out. You are not a pile of ash. You are a living inferno of rage. You are stronger, harder, and more furious than you have ever been in your entire existence. Your eyes are blazing gold, and you are ready for revenge. You knock over the 8 trigrams crucible, sending it crashing to the floor. You pull your golden hoop staff from behind your ear. It had survived the furnace with you, a testament to its own divine nature, and you begin to smash Lousy's laboratory to pieces. The old master and his attendants flee in terror. You are no longer just a rebel. You are a force of cosmic destruction, a demon forged in the very fires of heaven. You storm out of the Tushatop Palace and begin a final epic rampage through heaven. This is no longer about titles or recognition. This is about pure, unadulterated vengeance. You fight your way through the celestial corridors, your golden eyes seeing through the disguises of any god who tries to hide. No one can stand against you. You are an unstoppable juggernaut. You fight your way past the celestial guards, past the generals, past everyone and everything that stands in your way. You are heading for one place, the Hall of Miraculous Mist. You are going to fulfill the threat you made earlier. You are going to depose the Jade Emperor himself. The gods of the celestial court, from the 9 luminaries to the 28 constellations, try to form a defensive line, but you plow through them like they're not even there. Your staff is a blur, and your rage gives you the strength of a collapsing star. The alarm is sounded throughout heaven. The Monkey King has escaped the crucible. He's heading for the throne. The celestial bureaucracy dissolves into pure panic. Gods and goddesses who have known nothing but serene order for millennia are now screaming and running for their lives. You batter down the doors of the Great Hall. Inside, the Jade Emperor, seeing you, the indestructible demon he thought he had executed, coming for him, does the only thing a terrified celestial bureaucrat can do. He panics. He dives under his magnificent jade desk, hiding and trembling, and shouts the celestial equivalent of "Somebody do something." Quickly, the Emperor shrieks from his hiding place. Go to the Western Paradise. Summon the Buddha. This is the ultimate emergency measure. The Jade Emperor, the head of the Taoist pantheon, is so desperate that he is calling for help from the leader of a different spiritual tradition entirely. The relationship between Taoism and Buddhism in China was complex and often competitive. The fact that the Jade Emperor has to call on the Buddha for help is a significant moment in the story. Historians still argue whether this was intended to show the superiority of Buddhism over Taoism, a common theme in some Buddhist-influenced literature of the period, or if it was simply a way to introduce an even more powerful character to resolve an otherwise unsolvable plot. A fringe tidbit suggests that some Taoist interpretations of the novel see the Jade Emperor's call as a strategic delegation, not an admission of weakness. Whatever the reason, the order is given. An emissary is dispatched at supernatural speed to Vulture Peak, the mountain home of the Buddha, to beg him to intervene and save heaven from the rampaging Monkey King. You stand triumphant in a hall of miraculous mist, the seat of cosmic power. The Jade Emperor is cowering under his throne. His court is in shambles, and the greatest warriors of heaven are scattered and defeated. You are a vision of terrifying glory, your body hardened by alchemical fire, your golden eyes blazing with a light that sees through all pretense. You laugh, a booming, echoing sound that fills the vast hall. This throne is mine now, you declare. The Jade Emperor has ruled long enough. It's time for a new ruler in heaven, and that ruler is me, the great sage. You are about to stride forward and claim the throne for yourself when a serene, calming presence suddenly fills the air. The chaos and panic seem to subside, replaced by a profound sense of peace. At the entrance to the hall, a figure appears, bathed in a soft, golden light. It is the Buddha Tathagata, who has arrived from his Western paradise on Vulture Peak at the Jade Emperor's desperate request. He is not a warrior. He wears simple saffron robes, and his expression is one of gentle, smiling compassion. He holds no weapon. His power is not of the martial kind. It is something deeper, more fundamental. He looks at you, the rampaging demon, not with anger or fear, but with a kind of gentle pity. Monkey, he says, his voice calm and resonant, what is the cause of all this trouble? Why do you disrupt the peace of heaven? You are not intimidated. You have faced down the entire celestial army. What is one more unarmed god? You plant your staff firmly on the floor and begin to list your grievances, your voice full of righteous anger. This Jade Emperor is a fraud, you shout. He has occupied this throne for eons, but he is unworthy. I have mastered the 72 transformations. I have achieved immortality. I can leap 108,000 li in a single bound. With skills like mine, I am the one who should be ruling heaven, not that old fool hiding under the furniture. The Buddha listens patiently, a small smile playing on his lips. You have skills, it is true, he says when you are finished with your tirade. But do you know how long the Jade Emperor has cultivated his virtue to earn this throne? He has endured 1,750 kalpas, a kalpa being an impossibly long cosmological cycle, roughly 4.32 billion years, and each kalpa is 129,600 years long. You are just a beast who became a spirit for the first time. How can you possibly compare your brief, chaotic existence to his eons of patient spiritual practice? This throne is not for you. You should apologize at once and return to the lower world before it's too late. This lecture on seniority and cosmic karma does not impress you in the slightest. Enough talk, you snarl. If he won't give me the throne, I will fight him for it, and I will fight you too. The Buddha sighs, a sound like the wind through ancient pines. Very well, he says. Since you are so proud of your abilities, let's make a wager. If you can jump out of the palm of my right hand in a single leap, I will persuade the Jade Emperor to abdicate and give you the throne. You can have all of heaven. But if you fail, you must return to the mortal world and practice self-cultivation for another few eons before you cause any more trouble. Do you agree to this? You look at him, then at his hand. It seems like a perfectly normal-size hand. A single leap? You can travel over 33,000 miles in one bound. This is the easiest bet you have ever been offered. It's a trick, it has to be, but you can't see what the trick could be. Your pride and your arrogance blind you to the true nature of the being you are dealing with. Are you serious? You ask, laughing. You really think I can't jump out of your hand? I'm quite serious, the Buddha replies, his smile unwavering. Then it's a bet, you declare. You feel a surge of confidence. The throne of heaven is just one jump away. The Buddha extends his right hand. It looks like a small, fleshy lotus leaf. You gather your power, placing your staff behind your ear, and with a mighty leap, you spring into the air. You perform your famous cloud somersault, shooting through the cosmos like a golden arrow. You fly on and on, the stars and galaxies blurring past you. You travel so far and so fast that heaven and all its palaces are just a distant memory. Finally, you see something in the distance, 5 massive, pinkish pillars rising up and piercing the clouds at the very edge of the universe. This must be the end of everything, you think to yourself. You have surely flown out of the Buddha's hand and reached the boundary of creation. To prove you were there, you decide to leave a little graffiti. You walk up to the middle pillar and with a flourish, you write in big characters, "The great sage, equal to heaven, was here." Then, in true monkey fashion, you decide that's not quite enough. You lift your leg and urinate at the base of the first pillar to mark your territory. It's a crude, defiant gesture that has made this scene famous for its sheer audacity. This act of cosmic vandalism is a fringe tidbit that perfectly encapsulates your character, immensely powerful, but still fundamentally a wild, irreverent creature. Satisfied with your work, you turn around and perform another cloud somersault, flying all the way back. You land triumphant, back in a hall of miraculous mist, right where you started. You leap off the Buddha's palm and stand before him, puffing out your chest. "All right, I'm back," you announce. "I flew to the end of the universe and left my mark. Now keep your end of the bargain. Tell the Jade Emperor to pack his bags and give me the throne." The Buddha looks at you with that same compassionate, slightly sad smile. "You foolish monkey," he says gently. "You never left my hand. What are you talking about?" You retort angrily. "I flew to the 5 pillars at the edge of the world. I even wrote something on one of them to prove it. Look down, then," the Buddha says. You glance down at his hand, and your blood runs cold. There, at the base of his middle finger, in characters you instantly recognize as your own handwriting, are the words, "The great sage, equal to heaven, was here." And then, as you stare in horror, you catch a faint foul scent coming from the base of his thumb. The 5 pillars at the edge of the universe were not pillars at all. They were the Buddha's fingers. You never left his palm. The entire cosmos, which you thought you had traversed, exists within the hand of the Buddha. The philosophical implications are staggering. The universe you perceive is just a small part of a much larger, boundless reality. Historians still argue whether this is a literal depiction of the Buddha's power or a profound Mahayana Buddhist allegory about the nature of reality and illusion maya. For you, it is the moment of ultimate, crushing defeat. The realization hits you with the force of a physical blow, more stunning than any weapon that has ever struck you. You stare at the writing on the Buddha's finger, the faint smell of your own arrogant graffiti still in the air, and the sheer impossible scale of your failure crashes down upon you. The universe you traversed was nothing but a tiny space in the palm of his hand. Your powers, your speed, your very perception of reality, They are all insignificant compared to the being who stands before you. For the first time in your life, you are truly speechless. Your bravado, your arrogance, your confidence, it all evaporates into a cloud of cold, hard dread. You have lost the wager. The throne of heaven, which felt so close, is now infinitely far away. It can't be. You stammer, your mind refusing to accept the truth. It's a trick. An illusion. I'm going back to see for myself. You try to gather yourself for another leap, to flee, to escape this impossible reality. But the Buddha is done playing games. Before you can move, he turns his hand over. The 5 fingers transform, becoming the 5 elements of Chinese cosmology: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. They merge into a single colossal mountain that comes crashing down upon you. You try to struggle to push it off, but its weight is the weight of reality itself. With a final terrifying roar of stone and earth, the mountain slams you down out of heaven, pinning you to the ground on the borders of the mortal world. You are trapped. The 5 Phases mountain, as it comes to be known, holds you in an unbreakable grip. Your head and arms are free, but the rest of your body is pinned beneath the immense, magical rock. You struggle with all your might, using every ounce of your cosmic strength, but you cannot budge it an inch. The Buddha, looking down from heaven, sees you are still struggling. He takes a piece of paper, writes on it the most powerful mantra in Buddhism, Om Mani Padme Hum, hail the jewel in the lotus, and has it pasted onto the side of the mountain. The moment the paper is affixed, the mountain's roots grow deep into the earth, and its weight becomes absolute. Your last ounce of resistance is crushed. You are utterly and completely imprisoned. The Jade Emperor and the Celestial Court hold a massive victory banquet to thank the Buddha for his intervention. Peace is restored to heaven. The crisis is over. But for you, the story is just beginning a new, long, and painful chapter. You are left alone, pinned beneath a mountain, exposed to the elements. For years, you rage and curse. You shout your defiance to the uncaring sky. But no one comes. No one hears. The seasons turn. The wind and the rain beat down on your exposed head. Weeds grow in your matted fur. When you are hungry, you are fed iron pellets. When you are thirsty, you are given molten copper to drink. This is your punishment, a long, slow torment designed to break your indomitable spirit. Your immortality, once your greatest prize, is now your greatest curse, trapping you in an eternity of suffering. This form of punishment, being pinned under a mountain, is a recurring motif in mythology, often reserved for titans and rebels who challenge the divine order, like Atlas in Greek myth or Loki in some Norse tales. Decades pass, then centuries. The world changes around you. Dynasties rise and fall in the mortal world. Your rage slowly, imperceptibly, begins to cool, worn down by the sheer, grinding monotony of time. It is replaced by a deep, profound loneliness. You, who were once the king of thousands, are now utterly alone. You have time to think. For the first time, you reflect on your actions, the pride, the arrogance, the trail of chaos you left in your wake. The mountain does more than just pin your body. It forces a stillness upon your restless soul. One day, after 500 years have passed, you see a figure approaching. It is the Bodhisattva Guanyin, the goddess of mercy, who is traveling through the mortal world on a mission from the Buddha. She is searching for a worthy pilgrim to undertake a dangerous journey to the West to retrieve sacred scriptures. She sees you, the once great rebel, now a pathetic, weathered figure pinned to the rock. Son Wukong, she says, her voice full of compassion. You look up, your fiery golden eyes now dimmed by centuries of despair. Who are you? You ask, your voice a hoarse croak. She tells you who she is and that she is acting on the Buddha's will. I have languished here for 500 years. You cry out, a torrent of pent-up sorrow pouring out of you. I have repented of my sins. I beg you, save me from this torment. Guanyin looks at you, seeing not the demon who terrorized heaven, but a soul that has been humbled and is ready for redemption. If you are truly repentant, she says, and if you are willing to embrace a new path, I can help you. I am looking for a protector for a holy monk who will be coming this way soon. His name is Tripitaka, and he is going to India to fetch the true scriptures. The journey is filled with demons and monsters. If you are willing to become his disciple, to protect him with your life, and to devote yourself to the cause of good, then you will be freed from this mountain. A flicker of hope ignites in your heart for the first time in half a millennium. Purpose, a chance for release, a path to redemption, a will. You shout, the words tearing from your throat. I will be his disciple. I swear it. I will protect him and never cause trouble again. This moment marks the true turning point of your story. Your rebellion is over. You have been humbled, punished, and now you are being offered a chance to use your incredible powers not for selfish glory, but for a noble cause. Historians still argue whether your conversion is a genuine change of heart or simply a pragmatic choice to escape imprisonment. But for you, it is the only choice you have left. Guanyin accepts your vow. She tells you to be patient, that the monk will arrive soon. She then ascends to the heavens, leaving you with a renewed sense of purpose. You wait, no longer with despair, but with eager anticipation. You are no longer just the great sage, equal to heaven. You are about to become a disciple, a protector, a pilgrim on the most important journey of your life. The first chaotic half of your story is over. The second, more meaningful half is about to begin. The final section of our tale will focus on this new beginning. As you await the arrival of the master who will finally set you free, you wait. But now the waiting is different. It's no longer the endless grinding despair of a prisoner condemned to an eternity of suffering. It is a waiting filled with purpose, with a fragile, flickering hope. The promise of the Bodhisattva Guanyin echoes in your mind. A holy monk is coming, and with his arrival comes your freedom. The wind and rain still lash against you, but they feel less like punishment and more like a final cleansing. The iron pellets and molten copper are still your only sustenance, but you bear them with a newfound patience, seeing them as the last remnants of a karmic debt you must pay. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. You watch the road, your fiery eyes golden gaze, once a tool of rebellion, now scanning the horizon for the first sign of your promised savior. You see travelers of all kinds, merchants with their caravans, scholars on their way to distant exams, wandering soldiers. But none of them are the one. You learn the true meaning of patience, a lesson that 7 years of sweeping courtyards at Subodhi's temple failed to teach you. 500 years under a rock, it turns out, is a far more effective teacher. Then, one day you see him. A young monk, dressed in simple robes, riding a white horse. He has a kind, gentle face, but his eyes hold a deep, unwavering resolve. He is accompanied by 2 rough-looking characters who you later learn are his recently acquired disciples, a former river monster named Sandy and a former celestial marshal who became a pig demon named Pigsy. This is him. This is Tripitaka. Your heart, for the first time in centuries, leaps with something other than rage or despair. It leaps with joy as the small party approaches the 5 Phases mountain. They hear a voice booming from the rock itself. Master, Master, I'm over here. Your disciple is waiting for you. Tripitaka, startled, looks around. He sees you, hairy, monstrous head and arms sticking out from the base of the mountain. He is understandably terrified. He thinks you are a demon trying to trick him. Master, don't be afraid, you shout. I am Sun Wukong. The Bodhisattva Guanyin told me you would come. She promised that if I became your disciple and protected you on your journey to the west, you would set me free. Tripitaka is still skeptical, but the name Guanyin carries immense weight. He cautiously approaches the mountain. He sees the paper talisman, the Buddhist mantra, pasted on a rock face. He realizes that you are a prisoner of the Buddha and that your story must be true. If you truly wish to be my disciple and follow the path of righteousness, Tripitaka says, his voice steady despite his fear, then I will release you. I do. I swear it, you cry. Then how do I get you out? The monk asks. It's easy, you explain. Just climb to the top of the mountain and tear off that paper seal. Once the seal is broken, the mountain will lose its power and I can free myself. Tripitaka, showing a courage that surprises even himself, agrees. He scrambles up the steep, rocky side of the mountain. He reaches the summit and finds the small weathered strip of paper with the golden mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. He peels it off the rock. As he does, the paper dissolves into a beam of golden light and shoots into the sky. Down below, you feel the change instantly. The absolute crushing weight that has pinned you for 5 centuries lessens. The mountain is just a mountain again. With a deafening roar of pure, explosive effort, you push. The earth trembles. The great 5 phases mountain groans and shatters, and you burst free, reborn from your stone prison just as you were once born from a stone egg. You stand tall for the first time in 500 years, stretching your stiff limbs, a being of immense, untamed power unleashed upon the world once more. You perform the full kowtow before Tripitaka, bowing your head to the ground in a display of submission you have never shown to any being, not even the Jade Emperor. Master, you say, your voice thick with emotion. Your disciple, Sun Wukong, greets you. You have found your purpose. Your rampage through heaven was the story of a being seeking power and recognition. This journey, the journey to the West, will be the story of a being learning to control that power, to find redemption not in titles or thrones, but in service and devotion. The real tale of the Monkey King isn't just his rebellion. It's what came after. It's the long, arduous path toward enlightenment, a path you are now, finally, ready to walk. The story of your chaotic youth in heaven is complete. You have challenged gods, defeated armies, and paid a terrible price for your hubris. But as you stand at the foot of the shattered mountain, looking at the gentle monk who is now your master, you understand that your greatest adventure is just beginning. The path to the West is long and fraught with peril, but for the first time, you will not be fighting for yourself. You will be fighting for something more, and so your great, chaotic, and ultimately transformative tale of heavenly rebellion comes to a gentle close. The echoes of your staff striking celestial armor have faded, replaced by the soft whisper of the wind on the long road to the west. The fiery rage in your golden eyes has cooled, tempered by 500 years of solitude and the quiet compassion of your new master. The universe no longer revolves around your insatiable ego, but around the simple, profound task of protecting a vulnerable human on a sacred mission. As you settle into the background hum of your own room, feel the weight of your own day begin to lift, just as the mountain's weight was lifted from you. Let the story of the Monkey King be a reminder that even the most chaotic energy can find its purpose, that even after the loudest storms, there can be a quiet, meaningful peace. The journey from rebellion to redemption is a long one, but it begins with a single step, or in your case, a single bow to a humble monk. Allow your own thoughts to soften now, the sharp edges of the day smoothing out into the gentle curves of impending sleep. There are no more battles to be fought tonight, no more gods to defy or peaches to steal. There is only the quiet, steady rhythm of your own breathing, a gentle current pulling you toward the shores of your dreams. Let the final images of the story fade like smoke, leaving only a sense of calm resolution, a feeling that even the wildest of journeys can find a peaceful end. The great sage has found his path, and now it is time for you to find your rest.